That was a fucking millisecond. I don't like it.
I forgot to turn my lamp on. It's looking dark. It still looks dark.
It's alright, because I could just about make out this weird shit that's going on, right? If my eyes do deceive me, I see more people than there are fucks given today. The prodigal son has returned.
Who's that?
And he's brought back his Charles Dickens candle with him. And some romantic ambience. Yeah, give him a little fucking white cap, some fucking slippers. I can't say much. I'm wearing slippers, but nobody knows that. I'm not wearing slippers. How are we all doing, boys?
Yeah, very good.
So Manners is looking fly. He's got his hat, he's got his merch on, repping for a band that we don't know, and he's got his he's all like even on brand with us, you know what I mean? I'm telling you, man, it's whole lot of synergy going on. He's got his monitor in the background. Pretty sure he's reading off a monitor in front of him as well. He's got it all laid out.
I've got 4 fucking monitors here, actually.
4 fucking monitors. That's my new band name. 4 fucking monitors.
Good band name.
It's not bad. But speaking of which, George, you're back, which means you've been gone, which means you probably got some stuff to talk about, maybe.
Nah, not really.
Nah, kicking it up in the Bahamas, looking at famous benches.
Bahamas.
Is there? I don't know. They must have benches in the Bahamas on the beach. I don't know.
The Bahamas.
There you go.
I didn't see the bench on the way back, by the way.
You didn't get the bench. Oh man, not even the one that George Michael got busted on in that park that one time.
That would have been. It's definitely worth a visit, isn't it?
It was the only other. I was sitting here earlier thinking of this whole bit. I was like, is there another famous bench? I was like, and that was the only one I could come up with. So that probably says more about me than it does George Michael, to be honest. But anyway, what's the skinny? Do people say that?
I never heard it before, but
no,
I'm assuming that means what's the situation?
Yeah, what's been going on?
I'm unemployed. I'm but I seem to be busier than ever somehow. Yeah,
fucking dedicated to the craft, mate.
Yeah, not that there's no gigs for a while. There's just trying to record stuff and do other things. Did a bit of crew work, manual labour.
How was that?
Hard.
Yeah.
I haven't done physical work in like a few years, so
they got you pushing crates up hills and all that shit.
They had like a little little ramp going up onto a lorry. Luckily I didn't do too much. It was just helping carrying the decking, like just pulled a stage apart and then put it in a lorry or a couple lorries and then unloaded it at a warehouse, and then that was it. But hopefully get a bit more work in a bit, but other than that, man, just had them gigs and writing music and stuff.
How was the weekend? Like, surely for you guys, like running around in the car must be fucking knackering. But... Oh
man, it's funny you said that because I saw that clip that you posted, and you're like, "Oh, I don't want to know how far he drove." I didn't do any of the driving.
oh, right, I didn't know that.
Big win.
I mean, yeah, Adam, bless him. He was a trooper, and he felt as he didn't have, as much to contribute. He was just like, I'm going to do the driving, so I feel better about myself. Cheers, because I only got like 4 hours sleep every fucking night. So, and it weren't because I was partying or anything. It was purely like tinnitus and like just being unfamiliar.
For anyone who doesn't know, tinnitus was a supporting band.
Oh, my fucking girlfriend got tinnitus from one of the sport bands.
Oh man, too soon. I shouldn't have joked about it. That's bad times.
I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, she just said like it still feels like her is like submerged in water or something. Yeah.
She was like, George, I can feel you when you're gone, and now I can fucking hear you when you're gone. Like, it's still going. Still going.
I mean, it probably contributed to it.
I've got to mention a certain person turned up at one of your last gigs.
Oh, yeah, he did indeed. Yeah, that was quite funny. I got a message. He was like, "Where are you?" And obviously, he's familiar with. So yeah, we had Newcastle, Birmingham, and then Nottingham last day, and he was like, he was quite familiar with Nottingham. His girlfriend lives. Not his girlfriend. Sorry.
You're sending you messages and going, "Yeah, colour."
Yeah. Good old reference. And then he just sent us a picture of the pizza place outside the pizza place we were at.
What fucking stalker.
Pizza Punch. Yeah, it was a bit unnerving, but I was also. It's a good thing he came because, to be honest, it was a Sunday night in Nottingham. There wasn't that many people about. There certainly wasn't people who wanted to like move or mosh or anything, and he just got the crowd going. Everyone was literally like, "Yeah, sorry."
We're obviously talking about King Under the Mountain, the Hobbit theme. Like, he turned up at one of George's last gigs. And
do I even know who that is?
Sam Bill.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. I'm surprised he made it.
Yeah,
well, he took a while.
It was a thing for a whole week, and literally, I'd say it's the night of or night after. I saw pictures when I woke up on Instagram, and there's just people who went to see Macklemore and like tagged them in Instagram, and Bill was wearing his Hawaiian t-shirt in pretty much every fucking picture. He's just going mad. Like,
because he thought that Nottingham was a fictional magical land from Robin Hood. Do you know what I mean? So like the fact that he found his way there, you know, second star on the right, straight on till drinking till morning.
I would not predict past him that he's not even seen a single fucking Robin Hood movie.
No, he has, but
shit out of him for it.
He's only seen the Russell Crowe one. That's the kind of degenerate human being he is. He's only seen the Russell Crowe one.
Well,
I think they're actually making a new Robin Hood like prequel series or something, which, you know, is relevant. I don't know anything else about it, but we are going to talk a whole lot of fucking prequels in a little while. You know, it's not all just personal stuff, trials and tribulations, you know, merch and old friends climbing up out of the woodwork. Well, I suppose that is kind of what a lot of these prequels are as well, isn't it? They're like old friends climbing up out of the woodwork. They're not quite as pretty as you remember them. You know, they've got the personality of a thing you remember, but they don't quite, you know, they're not quite all there. It's like they've been kicked around the schoolyard a few too many times, and now they've come back to try and worm their way into your life, you know. But it's not all doom and gloom. We got trailers. We got 2 reviews. Not going to be massive reviews because we got another big segment coming on, and also they're older movies. Not by much. Talk about Late Night with the Devil and Leave the World Behind. Not sure which order we're going to do this in. We're just kind of freewheeling a little bit.
Speaking of freewheeling, I've just come on here and the backgrounds are gone.
The backgrounds have gone.
Yep. Give me a second.
I mean, you don't see much of them anyway. It's just to so it's not all just, you know, blank nothingness in the background.
Well, I actually managed to get what you sent us, the whole chart thing, as an overlay, so that can go on top of us.
Woo! Happy days. I like having things on top of us. Yeah, that's good. And until then, we'll just have to fill the virtual space with our vibrant personalities. And you know who's got a vibrant personality though?
Who's that?
Tom Hardy and his mate Venom.
Certainly has.
I'll tell you what, these films, they're not going to win any Oscars anytime soon. A lot of like the comic book diehards don't really seem to be digging them that much. I mean, the first one still made like 700+ million, I think.
I'm sorry, but I'm just going to say it. Fuck them. Like, fuck them. I love this. I love these movies. I think it's a breath of fresh air. Like this, like they have actually been one of the most excited movie genres I've actually been going to see. When I find out there's a Venom movie, I don't give a fuck if you're going to shit on it or not, because that's what people do in it. Well, that's what people do it a lot. I'm going to go watch it no matter what. And
like a turd in the wind. I'll tell you what, right? I was reasonably excited for the first one, and then when I saw it, like probably opening night or pretty soon after, I was like, this ain't that good. But then the days afterwards, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, nah, it's just in my brain, it was like a 90s throwback, you know, but with like modern visual effects. And it's like, well, if there's anything that's going to be a 90s throwback, it's Venom, obviously. So I like that it kind of had that, like, you know, sort of slightly 90s B movie vibe to it. You know, like I say, it's not going to win any Oscars. The performance is great with the interplay between him and the symbiote, you know, talking to each other. You've got the voice in his head, commenting on everything that's going on, you know, sort of like a weird buddy cop movie, or like a superhero basket case, if anyone remembers that movie. I know George does. So this trailer comes out, and I'm like, because I didn't love the second one. I thought the second one was a little bit of a step down, you know, which is disappointing because a lot of us waited for a long time to see Carnage in a movie.
If you're gonna put Carnage in a Carnage movie, let it be Carnage. No,
there was Carnage.
Yeah, there was Carnage.
There was Carnage, but it's even darker than George's room, mate. Like, it was, you couldn't see what was going on half the time. You know,
I want to see cops split in half. I want to see body fat. I want to see spinal fluid. I want to see spines going everywhere, hands going left, right,
and then you want to watch a movie. I get it. So this one, there's not a lot of darkness going on here. I mean, there's darkness in the fact that he's still like murdering gangsters and, you know, getting into like weird government conspiracy, you know, weaponizing alien goo bullshit. But he's a globetrotter now. He's running around. He's in the fucking desert. He's in aeroplanes. He's getting out and about. And I tell you what, the thing that I liked about the other ones, which is the interplay between Venom and Eddie / Venom, he's like, they've upped that so much. He's like, you know, we're in the shit, or like, when can I eat them, and all of this kind of stuff, or where he's trying to say the catchphrase.
And now he's actually letting them eat. Oh, Eddie's letting him eat humans. Like, this is great. And he's like, oh, fuck.
You take me to the nicest places. Yeah, it's good stuff. So, George, you as a not hardcore Venom person, or maybe you are, did you see the other two, and did you see this trailer?
I did, actually. Funny enough, I mean, I always loved the art style of Venom and Carnage. The symbiote thing is, you know, yeah. Who's the guy who did the R-rated or the fucking brutal comics? You showed me him before. I can't remember his name.
Oh, there was a was it like the digital art style?
Yeah.
That was a guy called Clayton Crane. He was one of the first like people to do a lot like that digital, like painted look kind of style, and he did a couple of runs on Venom. Obviously, before that, you had Todd McFarlane, who kind of, you know, defined the character. Mark Bagley done a lot of good work on the character. He went on to do like
McFarlane. I just like lose my shit.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty good. He's a pretty good artist, and he knows his shit. But when he starts talking about this Spawn movie that's never going to happen, I'm like, I'm just drowning him out now, because he's been bigging that idea up for the last like 20 years, and he just pull the trigger or don't, Todd.
Release it. Yeah,
I'm sure he. I'm sure he's.
Stop or just release it.
Yeah, well, you know, things aren't easy these days, are they, to get something cool out there, it seems, especially if it's...
I don't know, man. If he owns the McFarlane Toy Company, he could fund that shit himself. But anyway, you like Venom.
Films.
But, and the films.
Yeah, and to be honest, I like Tom Hardy. I'm not like a super fan, but yeah, I enjoyed the films for what they are. Again, yeah, like McManus said, it would be nice to see some like spines getting ripped out and all the brutal stuff, but it's not likely. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. But yeah, fuck them. But yeah, I enjoy them for what they are. To be honest, I don't know. Is it me, or is the Venom voice just kind of like the Bane voice, but like
a little bit, but he's got so much personality. Yeah, he's so lovable. You know what? He always reminds me of The Mask, and the cadence, the way that he speaks, where he's like very like he goes from very slow to very like quick and pressured kind of speech. I didn't love that version of Bane. I'm up and down on Tom Hardy. I think sometimes he has moments of brilliance, and other times it's just like, you get a legend. Sorry.
I like Legend. I think Legend. I enjoy it. I find it.
I think sometimes he's trying a little bit too hard to be like this sort of quirky, flamboyant, hard man kind of stereotype that he's kind of crafted.
Two people at the same time.
But that's my problem at Manners. Tom Hardy only ever plays two people, and he played both of them in one movie. But I digress. He's good at he's good in this. I like him in this. We got big symbiotes. We got different kinds of symbiotes. We got horse symbiotes. Yeah. What more do you want? Gooey fucking mess all over myself when I watch this.
One of the big questions, you see fucking asteroids falling from the sky, and it's like, Eddie, oh. What the fuck is happening to your homeworld? Like, if you're.
But he don't care because they don't like him.
But do you know who's in the middle of that planet? That's so-called breaking up and sending to fucking Earth. Or basically, George, this like the whole fucking Venom's homeworld, is a prison.
All right.
From let's say it's the god of the symbiotes, ain't it?
There's like a symbiote god, and it's a prison planet for nasty, horrible shit. And then in the center of it, there's this big symbiote god, which I don't know if that's the thing that we're seeing in the trailer. Sony don't have the best track record for like embracing the interesting, cool things about the source material. You want to see spines in Venom, or you could go watch something spineless like Madam Web. So you know what I mean.
Another thing, though, if he escapes, but you've both seen, unfortunately, 4-4.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that Null's sword?
It is, yeah, but there's no way they're going to connect all that stuff. I don't think the law is going to go that deep. Yeah, I would like it to, but I just don't think they're going to go there. But this does look like a fun. Maybe. Sorry. I mean, the problem is I don't even know that, with the whole Sony Marvel thing, it's like that they're even like restricted on what they can reference and what they can have an Easter egg for. Like Sony surely anyone who's watched like up to date with the latest or that storyline is going to see this and be like, what? Yeah, but you're going to be doing that when you watch one of these Sony universe things anyway, So, and the Venom movies have been sort of the saving grace of them, It's either Venom or Morbius or Madam Web, So he's definitely the king of the castle, and I think it's going to be good. He's coming out like October, so which I think the first two came out around about the same time. Got them spooky vibes going on. I think it'll do pretty well.
I think it's around the time of my birthday.
There you go. Happy birthday, McManus. I'm going to give your face a big hug because the other trailer we got coming in, Alien Romulus.
I didn't watch this.
You didn't watch the trailer? Is that out of choice?
Yeah, well, you said before, I generally, if there's something I'm really interested in, I try to not watch trailers or read about it. But I mean, you guys can talk about it. I mean,
I showed my mother this trailer, and she went, "Holy shit!"
It is a very maternal kind of franchise, so that does make sense. You know,
lots of mamas.
Yeah, lots of maternal metaphors and vibes going on. So I was almost in the same boat as you, George. I was like, should I watch this? I thought the teaser trailer was pretty effective. It sold me on the tone and that this was going to hopefully be quite a bit better than the last couple of last maybe even half a dozen entries into this franchise, if you include in AVP and such, which people don't. They're fine. Leave them alone, right? But yeah, so it's you get a little bit more story. It opens up right. Bad idea for the characters is when you open up and you've got this guy and he's like, all right, we'll do this one last job and then me and you will go away and we'll get out of the game. Don't say that when you're in a horror movie. You're not going to be going away to the Bahamas with George on his bench. You're just going to be you're going to be getting savaged. And savaged, we see a lot of savagery going on, right? A lot of face hugger stuff. There's this one shot, George, where a face hugger is hugging his face, and you get like a close up of like what's going on in between the face hugger and the face, and it's like it's fishing around looking for the clit. It's like trying to find his mouth and get it in there. It's like, oh, that's uncomfortable. That's really brutal.
No one actually knows, like, unless you like embedded and into Alien and George R. Geiger history.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, H.R. Geiger. You nearly said George R.R. Martin, I think.
I fucking did.
I think that was what was going on.
There we go. Yeah, unless you know, like, and you
Creepy
get down to what a face hugger actually does. You have no clue. You just think it attaches to your face, and somehow, like, but it doesn't take.
And then a stork comes and brings you a nice little egg, and it's all happy days, you know.
And it's like, do you realise it? Like, that has a long tentacle that lays eggs, and it goes in through their mouth, down into their stomach. Like, no, it don't. Like, look up the fucking diagrams for it. And and they're like, you're sick, fuck.
They somewhat like describe sort of what the alien does, where it merges like its DNA or whatever. It what's the word? Incubates, and then the host plays part of, you know, the form of what the alien becomes. Is that
which is supposed to be the sort of the idea, but I think that's one of the problems with this franchise, and it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because sometimes, like, well, we're kind of just locked into this one creature, and it's like the cool thing about Alien was like this new, unique kind of creature, but then because that's what you like about it, if you try and do another new, unique kind of creature, nobody's going to be having it. You know, they try to sort of deviate from the path with like Prometheus, that wasn't the only issue with those movies. You know, the story was like an unfinished mess. There were some good ideas in there, but everyone's like, where's your fucking xenomorph, man? Where's my fucking alien? Where's my face hugger?
Not been invented yet. Right.
Well, yeah, we know that because it's a prequel coming soon, but I think we get some hints in this trailer of like some slightly different looking face huggers. Maybe there's some different mechanisms going on and it's not just a tentacle down the throat. It looks like there might be some other things going on. And I think that's good. Give us a healthy dose of like, get back to basics, scary, long, dark corridors, squishy noises. There's a lot of squishy noises in this trailer, George. Maybe too many.
You can hear the slime in like 4K. Like, it's when the face huggers jump, you can hear the slime off of them going that way after they jump.
Ripping.
And like, you see, like, xenomorphs, like it. Let's say it's. I don't know if you count Alien versus Predator in these movies because
they're not canon. They're not canon, but I like them, so I always like.
Yeah, they're pretty fucking cool. But someone had to come along and be like, "Oh, face hugger, human. Let's see what that can do." And then turns out they labelled that a soldier, but a xenomorph is the standard bred soldier. It just depends on what size and like human is. Like they'll just come out bigger or smaller sizes, but they're still a soldier. You get a xenomorph, you get a face hugger on a dog. Somehow that xenomorph turns into a dog, like can run on all fours, but it's fucking armored. Like how the fuck does that work?
So, like, to go back to what George was saying, I do think that is sort of supposed to be the intent, but I think again they're kind of tied because they want it to be that recognizable creature. But they are getting out. It looks like they might be getting out of the box a little bit, but as well as a healthy dose of the old as well. Couple of things though. Firstly, how many times have I got to hear Space Odyssey in a fucking trailer for a space movie? Like, I'm sure I've heard it like 3 times this year in space trailers, like sci-fi trailers. And David Bowie used to be fairly particular about who he would license his music to. Obviously, he's not been around for a few years now. Are the kids just struggling for a few pennies? You know, a little bit of that.
Yeah, sorry. I was just gonna say it's nice to hear his music out there still, but like whatever.
Well, pick a different one. Maybe Ziggy Stardust. Play Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. You know, like that's relevant. Spiders,
station to station.
Love it. You know, fucking have Rebel playing on the jukebox.
I know this might be sacrilege right here, but do you want to know the first time I actually got into David Bowie?
Go on.
Was it after Mick Jagger got into David Bowie?
Fuck Mick Jagger. It's that just came out.
That's fine.
I mean, that was kind of the idea, but yeah, go on.
It was during fucking American Horror Story season 4.
Never seen it.
I
first time.
Can't recall what song.
It's the circus season.
Yeah, but what Bowie's?
Or
is he in it?
Life on Mars. No, he's not on it.
Okay.
But they
it was a dancing in the street, no? Because
I love that fucking video where they replaced the audio. Yeah.
And all you can hear is them tapping everything.
Yeah, so a lot of Space Odyssey in the trailer and it's that classic slightly slow version with those epic wide slow motion shots of like ships crashing into shit. You know, it's like I've seen this stuff so much. And then right at the end of the trailer, they do the shot of the lady protagonist up against the wall in her tighty whities and the xenomorphs all up in her face. I'm like, we didn't need, it was a bit too on the nose, you know, like we didn't need to see that shot. But again, I know why you're doing it, because you want people to know that like this is like classic Alien, this isn't Prometheus, you know, this is all the things that you wanted from those movies. Which, to be fair, we did get all of that in Covenant anyway. I mean, it wasn't great, but this does look better. Fede Alvarez is a...
Sorry.
Go on.
No, I just want to say, is Ridley Scott actually the producer on this, or is it just from producer Ridley Scott?
Well, he apparently he is a producer. He apparently had some back and forth with Fede Alvarez on the script. He said it was really great. Fede Alvarez also said that he spoke to James Cameron, who said it was great, but then James Cameron has endorsed the last like 5 Terminator movies and said that they were great. And then as soon as the movie comes out, he comes out and says, "No, I was just promoting the movie." It's like, well, we can't fucking.
Avatar,
I got paid to say that.
Yeah, like James Cameron's hard up for a few bucks. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. But it looks pretty good. Fede Alvarez is like a pretty hot director. They put his name pretty big at the beginning of the trailer as well, so they know that he's like, you know, he's got some status behind him. I really liked his Evil Dead remake. You wasn't as keen on it as I was. You preferred Rise, didn't you, to the first?
Yeah,
I did. Watched it.
Yeah, we did. I see both of you guys. 2 separate occasions.
I fucking love that movie. Like, I actually, there's one of the movies that came out, like, a movie like that with normal people would fuck them up for a couple of days. I came out of that movie with a massive smile on my face, and like that made me happy.
That
That
was a
movie,
good
that was
time.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it was all right, man. But yeah, he did obviously the remake 2013, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still, I thought that was pretty dour and pretty dark, but yeah, it was well.
There was. I think there was humor in it, but it was super like dour, dark humor. It wasn't as. It lacked a little bit of the zany personality,
the character
that you would want a little bit from, well, more than a little bit from the Sam Raimi movies. But I thought it was a good take, and I thought it kept the essence of the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, let's be fair, man. We're all gonna go watch this film anyway. So.
Oh yeah, we were all first. I haven't been to see a lot of stuff this year, really, in theaters. But this one, I'm definitely gonna do. I don't think I've seen an Alien movie at the cinema before, so I'm definitely gonna be there for it. Maybe we'll even arrange a Jolly Boys pot roast field trip or something. We'll see. Again, coming out later on in the year, so we got time. We got time to get ready.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's like right at the end of August, which I think is a decent, because I think the October, November is kind of getting a bit crowded for like the Halloween stuff, as it always does naturally. And this kind of has got much more of like a bigger scope and like spectacle to it, as well as the frights. So I think end of August will be a nice spot. I'm hoping it does well. I think it will do well.
I'm really looking forward to Halloween this year. I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't, but I need to make an effort this year because I'm 35. So,
well,
I think I'm going to watch Cradle of Filth on Halloween.
That's pretty tasty.
Motherfucker, where?
London. I don't know. I can't remember. I think it might be Electric Ballroom. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I remember. I remember actually. It was. He's probably watching now. But it's when Murphy was covering for one of his cover bands. Actually managed to make Danny Phil for the first time with Bill, and I was fucking wrecked.
Of course you were.
Yeah, I really shouldn't have gone up to him and just introduced myself, because even Uzi was like, "You're a fucking dickhead, mate. Do you know what you just said?" Like, no, I was talking nonsense from gigs that you never played in the wrong fucking year, even though I watched like most of all their DVDs.
Oh, well, you're gonna do that, man. You meet your heroes.
Like, whatever, bro. Fuck off for the night.
I guarantee you that man and that band have met a lot crazier people at their shows than you.
100%.
Like, all you wanted to do was just chill out. Or you're standing there with literally half a glass. It's like fucking, I don't know if it was a glass or it was just like a wine glass, all the way up with wine, and he was just like,
peasant. yeah. He is a bit like that, from what I can gather.
Yeah, but I met him as well. He was all right. He was cool enough to me, to be honest. I wasn't trashed when I was going. I kept it short, kept it brief.
It's the best way.
Bill met him again 3 weeks later, and he remembers Bill because Bill looks like fucking Bill.
Everyone remembers Bill.
He was in Nottingham the next day, and Bill showed up there as well. Yeah.
Takes a picture with Bill, and it's like, "Oh, can you send this? Can you take a picture from mate Manny? He didn't decide to come tonight." And the one with the fucking long beard and the grey hair. They're like, "That's the one," and you just get him doing this. Like,
right on. Left an impression. So what more could you ask for? Before we get too far away from the aliens of it all, no, it's fine. All about this free-form, free-flowing, casual conversation. Ramon, is this what people come here to watch? By the way, like, subscribe, comment if you watch. Do it all. You won't regret it. Or maybe you will, but life is full of regrets, and those regrets make us who we are. So do it anyway, right?
I do like how that glows.
It does glow. What that is doing to his room, we will do to your room. We will glow up whatever space you're living in, wherever you are, on your laptop, on your phone, on your tablet, in your ears. We like to bring a nice toxic green glow to your day. All right. So anyway, not to get too far away from Alien. Because it's getting further away, smaller and smaller in a little escape pod, and I press the eject button, and I'm trying to grab on with a fucking fire hose before it all goes to shit. Okay, and
I know people think about these like, are they action? Are they horror? Yeah, for when you were younger, when you watched the first Alien movies, they were like scared the shit out of you as a kid. But it seems like this franchise, after like the last Alien game, Isolation, which I completed, by the way,
pretty hard. I didn't even make it to I didn't even make it to a single fucking alien in that game.
Yeah,
like, I'm not having fun.
That bitch, I was gone. Like, bye. Yeah, and yeah, it really seems like the director played this game and went, okay, can we make something like this? Or, like, they're bitching a lot. Like, they don't even know what's coming their fucking way. Like, it feels like that. It really does. So, like, we're gonna fuck them up. Like, new people and the old people like this.
Yeah, I hope so. There was a couple of shots of like pulse rifles, so you know you're getting some of that Aliens kind of action as well. There was multiple face huggers, and as I've said many times on this show and off of this show, the face huggers are the better creature. Once you get to a xenomorph, it's just like a big pouncy dog that's probably going to bite your head off. That's easy. Anyone can get their head bitten off. Can you ingest an egg down your fucking neck? That's the real horror, all right?
Either way, facehugger hits your face, you bite down on that fucking thing, acid. Dead either way.
Does the facehugger have the acid blood as well, or is that just come with them?
They
do. So you could have
off the head, and it just
of course they do. Yeah, because otherwise you would just do that, wouldn't you? You just bite down. I mean, unless you're like a throat goat, you could just clench and just hold it there and force it out. You know, Linda, just put that fucking alien on a ship with Linda Lovelace, and she will have that problem cut at the fucking knees before it can get started. All right, she'd like, no, you don't, and it's back out. Fucking stomp on it with a stiletto. Problem solved. But anyway, sticking in and around the Alien universe, we're going to cut the alien off at the neck there, right? So, but in the same universe, and again, another prequel thing that we're getting, we all saw Prey last year. I think last year went straight to streaming, which was a stupid move. Everyone loved that movie. That should have been on the big screen.
They would have raked in the money for that.
It didn't cost that much. I think it only cost like 60 million or something. Like that would have doubled its budget back in a month, easy. But it doesn't matter, fret not, because they've learned from their mistakes, and they're like, we're not going to take the fact that it didn't make any money because we put it on streaming as a bad sign. And we are getting another Predator movie. This time it's not called Predator, it's not called Prey, it's called Badlands.
Oh no.
And it stars Elle Fanning, who's pretty hot, good actress. You know, she's not just like a B movie, you know, low level like action star or whatever. You know, it's a fairly recognizable, reputable name, and all we really have at this point is her name and the name of the movie. I don't know about you, but I'm going to assume that the title Badlands implies that we're not going into the past. We're not going to Native America. We're not going, you know, into the jungle in Asia or whatever. It sounds like we might be getting Predator in the future. Am I wrong, or am I thinking too much into that?
I have no idea, man.
Where's this based? Say?
Well, it's called. It doesn't say. I'm getting my info off a comic book movie. Shout out to them. Keep me going.
Does it take place during the First World War?
No, it doesn't say. It doesn't say. But I'm just assuming. I don't know what the word Badlands to me kind of implies like apocalyptic, futuristic, dystopian kind of wasteland situation.
To
and
me,
we've already had one in the past. As much as I would love to see like Predator through the ages, I've said this before, I'd love to see like Predator in World War One or a Predator in like feudal Japan or whatever. I feel like if you keep doing that, it's going to turn into too much of a gimmick real quick. So what better way to kind of deviate? Let's go in the future. Maybe we've got our own laser shoulder cannons going on. You know, maybe we've got camouflage gear. And I've said this before as well. Predator's a bitch, mate. Fucking coming in when we've got nothing, you know, just sticks and stones with all these high-tech equipment, and then he goes bragging back to his mates that he got the kill. And it's like, well, yeah, of course you got the kill. She had a fucking spear. You know, like... By the way, he didn't get the kill that time because Amber Midthunder fucking brought it with the fucking spears and the fucking bow and arrows and the, you know, and she got good to him. But generally, they're not fighting a fair fight. So I feel like maybe we're going to get more of an even matchup. And maybe this could be, if Prey was like Alien, then maybe this could be like the Predator version of Aliens. You know what I mean? It's what I'm hoping for anyway. But not a lot of information. But are we all excited?
I'm game. I'm game if anything. If it's better than Prey, then a full blame. Because I went round other Sam or Sensible Sam. I call him Sensible Sam because my best friend is Sam and he is not sensible. So other Sam is Sensible Sam. Well, even though he glued his face, even though he glued his hand to his fucking head the other night and rang me, and like I don't know what to do. He's the guy. He's the head man, or I think he's one of the managers at Titman's Tooltips, and he glued his hand to his face.
He glued his hand to his face.
Yeah, for a bet.
Excellent.
Well, there you go. No wonder the Predators are fucking picking on us. Like we're already fucking half beating ourselves before they even get here with a fucking tube of Gorilla Glue, mate. So
no, I've delved into the Predator universe and it's pretty fucking cool. Turns out there's been one female Predator who turned into a fucking pirate.
What?
Yeah. Pirate Predator. I mean, come on, where's that movie? Pirate Predator.
Yeah, no, look it up. There's
Predators of the Caribbean.
Just fucking stumbling around with a bottle of rum, just like.
I'm not sure. I only heard I'm not sure if it's. I came across this, believe it or not, on fucking TikTok, but there is this chick Predator. Had her own armor. She's got a missing eye, as you do, but she's been pirating the seas of our homeworld. And apparently the fucking things she's killed that come out of the ocean at her are fucking ridiculous. So everyone's just left her the fuck alone because she's like, yeah, she's killed this. Fuck that bitch. Let's go and kill things in space.
Love it. So here's some extra information just to throw some extra context in here. This is being directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who also did Prey. And it specifies in here because he was supposed to be developing and making a Prey 2. That movie is still happening. This is not the sequel to Prey, so we're going to get another Prey, presumably with more Amber Midthunder and where she gets left off, because they kind of leave her on a little bit of a cliffhanger. Like there's going to be more story going on there. She gets given the gun. She's been like in the belly of the beast. Like there's still some beef to be squashed there, and we're going to get a fucking presumably futuristic Predator movie. So that's a nice little trilogy. And you know, both these franchises hopefully have seen their kind of worst days, because God help me, the Predator was bad.
Hang on. Are you saying the one with the crazy Marines?
Yeah, the one from 2018.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take my suit in a certain that standard, thank you.
And Joel Kinnaman gets like a Predator RoboCop suit at the end of it or whatever.
Yeah,
I think
like,
is it Joel Kinnaman or is it Garrett Hedlund? I don't know. It was bad.
The guy from Logan, missing an arm.
There you go. Yeah, not good.
I like shit movies, as you can tell. I want to see the fucking second part of that. I want him to literally wear that suit and literally Predators turn up that every human has shit themselves who ever seen them because, well, no human lives to report about unless you're fucking shorts and everything.
No shit's left behind for sure when you see one of them things, yeah.
Never appears, but there's fucking documents on him. But like, yeah, he's gone into the wind or whatever happened to him. But and then it's like he gets this fucking suit, and then it's been what, nearly 10 years.
It's been a while. He's been practicing. He's been running around. He's got like little targets lined up in his garage with fucking practicing the shoulder cannon. You know, he's working out. He's like ready. You know, and then he tries to go see them, and he sees a pirate predator.
I'm sorry. One of the best things about that movie is when that kid takes that fucking helmet out for Halloween, and he is just like, "Hi, dipshit! Why you got a stupid mask on?" He's like, "Ricky."
Yeah. I mean, don't even get me started on that kid. It's like, oh, well, he's on the spectrum. He's autistic, so he's good with computers. Okay, and then he goes from in that movie, he's like, you know, he's covering his ears, he's like rocking, he's like, I can't cope with this shit. And then 20 minutes later, he's like dropping badass one-liners. It's like, I get character development, but this is fucking ridiculous. And also, you make a bad name for those people that might be on the spectrum and are not good with computers. Drop the fucking stereotypes, people.
Yeah,
just fucking leave it alone.
Let's not forget the guy who played the Punisher in the first movie,
Thomas Jane,
was in this movie.
He was in it, and the cast was great. It should have been, it could have been. There was so much wasted potential. And as much as I don't want, you know, people keep going back, revisiting like old 70s, 80s franchises and just dragging them back out of the mud, like I said at the beginning of the show. Like, it seems like both this and Alien are both back on like an upward trajectory, which I'm very happy about. If this upward trajectory carries on, do we, dare I say, bring them back in AVP3? Have another go at it. Just because it's, you know, people say, oh well, it's just lame, just putting two things together. It's like, it could be good. You can put two cool things together and make a good story and a good movie. They're not mutually exclusive. They probably won't. I don't think they will, but no, I would like them to have a crack.
I think this guy, like, instead of Ridley Scott, have this guy or the Prey director direct with Ridley Scott, like both directors, and like what Marvel did. You know, like Russo. I know they're not brothers, but like the Russo brothers do. But these guys can put together and just be like. And
maybe. I'm not sure I want Ridley Scott working with it. I don't even know if I want Ridley Scott working with Ridley Scott anymore, to be honest. And he's busy making his $300 million Gladiator sequel, you know, which is a nice follow-up to his Napoleon movie, you know, which was all just, you know, some bullshit long-distance relationship drama we do not need.
I sat through the entirety of that fucking movie. You know, what is Napoleon like? Okay. He's a ticket and he's French.
Yeah. but that's fine.
He's also Jacques. I can't pronounce his name.
Anyway, the point is maybe not Ridley Scott, but get somebody else, you know. Maybe Fede Alvarez, he's done an Alien movie, you know. Trachtenberg's going to be busy with these two other Predator movies. Maybe Fede Alvarez can bring some, like, you know, some horror clout and have a go at it if he wants to.
He did the Ridley Scott thing. He's just what just jumped into my mind is the Jay and Silent Bob, where they're trying to like film the fucking Bloodman and Chronic film, and literally it's like, we're gonna get an action. I'm like, I'm busy.
Yeah,
Gus Van Sant, is it?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
I'm busy.
I'm busy.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of these old timers are kind of in that zone at the moment, and that's fine. We've got new people, up and coming, fresh blood. It's not just the same people beating the same horse with the same stick over and over again. And I think that is why these things are feeling, even though it's the same stuff that we've seen, it looks like they're going to be, a little bit fresher, a little bit more interesting, get a little bit that bite back into the, into the creature features. So hopefully, all good.
We've got a sustainable. Well, it's not me, but 2 people following. So, hi, thank you. Like, just drops in and out each week because, like, that one. No,
you sure that's not like you monitoring it as well?
No,
I remember doing that before, and I was like, "Oh, there's one person watching the whole time," and I was like, "Oh,
it's me."
Actually, it was me all along.
Hang on, check this out for a fucking freaky thing.
Anyway, I'm gonna get out. We get into these reviews in a minute or something.
That's where we're going.
All right,
that is absolutely where we're going.
Cool. So
he couldn't even make it through an hour. We had him back. He dangled that carrot in front of our fucking faces, and then he snatched it away. And now we're just left like Natalie and Bruglia, broken, naked on the floor.
He's gone 52 minutes without a pee. Leave him alone.
Oh, this man has got the bladder of iron, mate. He's gone days, weeks living with sweaty dudes, and he can't even pee because somebody else sees his wee-wee. It's just, if anyone could hold it, it's that man. But what he can't hold is his disdain for us here on the Pot Roast podcast. If you don't feel like George does, don't forget, click a like, click a subscribe, drop a comment. Alien, Predator, which one are you more excited to see? Should they bring them back in at some point down the line and have another crack at a crossover? Most people would probably say no. Let's just keep them going in their own. They've moved on. They live in different lives now. They've married other people. They've matured emotionally. They don't need each other anymore. They're just going to drag each other down into the mud.
Like, I've got to say that, yeah, there's a fan base for it, but oh my god, all people want these days, like, it's been whispered, rumored, so many hundreds of thousands of people play the game. Like, all people want is Warhammer. I've got to say
Warhammer. I believe they're doing that as a series. I think I heard they're doing a 40k series. That might be right. I think Henry Cavill is producing it.
Yeah. Amazon has just basically gave them, like, I think it's a blank check to be like, make it, show us, and if we approve it, you get more fucking money. But
yeah, you need a blank check with Warhammer because those figures are fucking expensive. But not my hobby, not my thing, not my kink.
I'm getting the books. I'm not playing the game. My cousin tried to get me into the game when I was 10 years old. It was going over my fucking head. And it's gotten to my age now that I've actually spent the time and actually looked up the lore. And there's, well, I've said this before to you guys, there's no good or wrong in this universe. It's just fucking worse. Like, each way you go. Like, Warhammer, 40k universe.
But speaking of horrible old creatures with lots of history, Julia obviously been making a bit of a comeback. She's been doing some stuff, and she appeared in a Netflix movie. Last place you expect to see Julia Roberts is at home on your TV screen on Netflix. Pretty Woman. This is now old Pretty Woman, depending on if that's your vibe or whatever. So this movie came out a little while ago, a few months ago, straight to Netflix. I remember hearing a lot of chatter, people like, what is this? Is this good? Is this bad? Like, what is this even about? I was like, this sounds interesting, but it was kind of one of those things where it's like, I've kind of heard too many people talking about this, like chattering online and that. It's like, I kind of got, as quickly as my interest was like peaked, it kind of got drained away, you know, like straight away. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I don't need to watch this. But then you two said that you watched it and you were like, this is interesting. We could talk about this. I'm like, okay, fuck it. It's been a few months since I've heard anyone talk about this. So now we'll take our turn. You know, all those other people, they've left us behind. We're talking about leave the world behind. And I'm telling you,
they're behind back there, mate.
They are long. For a lot of people, this movie's been left behind in the rearview mirror a long time ago. And we're coming at it fresh eyes. I don't know how recently you both saw it. I watched this like 2 days ago.
I watched it when it came out.
Couple weeks ago.
And it's just like straight away, it's like Julia Roberts. I was like, oh, is this the one with Julia Roberts and Kevin Bacon in it? And so I'm watching it and I'm like, Kevin Bacon's looking rough. Anyway, it turns out that I don't know the difference between Ethan Hawke and Kevin Bacon. They do look pretty similar, similar kind of careers. Anyway, it did turn out later on in this movie, Kevin Bacon is in this for like one scene. So that worked out, you know. I guess he got his brother Ethan the role. Yeah, like briefly, you see him for like 1 second. Yeah. Because I thought that freaked me out, right? Because I thought I was watching Kevin Bacon up until that point, and then he drives past Kevin Bacon, and I'm like, what kind of fucking body snatcher movie is this? And I'm like, oh wait, that's Kevin Bacon. This is Ethan Hawke. So anyway, they're having a getaway, you know, just quaint middle-class family. They're like, oh well, we're just going to throw some money in. I just decided before you even woke up that we're going to go get in a nice little lake house or whatever in the countryside. We need to get away from our technology. You know, the kid's too busy watching Friends. I'm sorry, what 12-year-old is watching Friends in 2024? I'm sorry, it is not happening. Right, and I know it's kind of like part of like,
you know why someone's watching Friends in 2024, motherfucker.
Even people that grew up watching Friends kind of don't care about Friends anymore. But anyway, so I'm watching this movie and I'm like, I'll tell you what, my just rough outline here, and not to give it away too much about what I thought about this movie, but it's like somebody put all of the M. Night movies into an AI and got the AI to write an M. Night movie. Because that's what this feels like. It's this weird, like, it feels like there's too many gaps between the dialogue. It feels like it's not, I don't know, it's like either the script is kind of sparse or the editing is kind of sparse. It just feels like somebody will say like a really generic line and then there's like a 2-second pause and somebody else will say a really generic line. It's all very stiff and wooden, and it's like they're trying to create this like friendly, like family bantery kind of dynamic, and it just wasn't really, I wasn't really on board with the characters going into this. Am I the only one? George, how are you feeling about this? Or was you feeling?
I get what you're saying with the generic dialogue, and yeah. And that's a pretty funny description. AI, M. Night. But yeah, I don't know. I was intrigued throughout. Like, I was like, what is going on here with, you know, the plot? I kept thinking, it's funny you said about Ethan Hawke, because I haven't seen him in too much. Have you watched Black Phone yet?
I haven't. But I'll tell you what, I was watching this film and I was expecting this to be like the technological version of The Happening. I thought this is going to be The Happening, but with like phones and technology, you know?
I mean, wait, George, wasn't it in The Happening? Dent's apparently got tickets to go see The Happening. It was on for 10 minutes. He got up and went like, oh, my fucking money back.
To be clear, I quite like The Happening, but spoiler alert, George, The Happening is like this M. Night kind of thriller, and it's, you know, it's like
Trees.
it's nature and the trees, and it's like an environmental message, right? And I felt like this was going to be the same thing, but for like phones and technology or whatever. But that's not really where it goes. But where did you think it was going?
I thought it was going to be aliens. I mean, I don't want to just fucking bury the lead, but we are going to spoil this, right?
Yeah, we're going to spoil it, and pretty quickly.
Well,
so yeah,
I'll wait for my manners to give some thoughts.
All right, yeah. So go on.
It didn't go where I thought it was going.
I didn't have the subtitles when the Spanish woman came up to the car, and she was just speaking Spanish.
They didn't have. I don't think they had subtitles on for her, because I watched with subtitles.
That was That's the point. Yeah, but I think that was the point. I was like, just like she's obviously in the thing. It's like she's worried and something's coming this way. Let her get in the fucking car, and he's just like, like she's getting more escalated. Why she's swearing at me? He's like, no, she needs a lift, mate. And it's like, fuck this bitch.
So to back it up, McManus, like, was you into it, like the first sort of half of or the first sort of third of this movie? Was you feeling it? Was you actually, did you care where it was going? Yeah,
because obviously, you know, I spend too much of my time on fucking TikTok because I'm me.
So this movie was for you. Yeah, you're watching Friends, you're watching TikTok.
I binged all that series in a week, thank you. And
it'll be there for you.
What I love about this movie, I love a camera angle. If it's different, if it's weird, if it makes someone go, what the fuck?
There are a lot of
love it.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of like really hard cuts to like a weird like sideways shot, or it'll do like a really quick cut to like a bit of far out wide shot, or it'll cut in really, you know, dramatically to a close up. And I thought that stuff was kind of interesting, but it didn't really feel merited.
I think it added. What did you say, George?
I was just saying, there was a lot of rotating camera movements, Dutch angles, and stuff.
That fucking did my head in. And when it was like that, but what is it? Is it the crash? And we know, like, we had that set. The guy, when he goes outside the shop, and then the water comes in and just fucking destroys the entire set behind him. Is it or behind him? He goes into the shop and then the whole water comes in. Is that it?
I don't know. I remember the boat.
I know when the ship comes onto shore.
That's it. Yeah. And he just goes into the shop and just ducks behind a single wooden door. Like, the fuck is a wooden door gonna save you from? Like, run, run.
I mean, like, Ethan Hawke's doing this whole, like, he's this really sort of, like, spindly, like, faux liberal English teacher type character. Just like, I'm not buying this, really. And obviously, she's supposed to be this, like, media advertising executive kind of, you know, high-flying, go-get-'em kind of thing. And I just... These two characters would not be, like, it just doesn't work for me at all. And I think, like, if you were doing all these interesting camera things and the characters were actually like interesting and made sense at the same time, you could have really been onto something and really hooked me. And I think if there hadn't been so much like talk and, you know, like intrigue or, you know, hearing stuff about this, I don't know if I would have made it all the way through, to be honest. Like I could have very easily have just like come off of this movie and just like Googled what the fuck's going on. You know, I didn't. I stuck it through, and you think it might be like technology's coming to get us, you know, because they drop a lot of that stuff early on. Then you think, oh, maybe it's aliens. Is it the trees again? And it's like, no, it's just countries are just, you know, they're starting a war basically, and this is just, you know, this is like this is like the opening scene. This whole movie is like a stretched out opening scene to a movie that we don't get to see. And the messaging isn't strong enough to make it, worthwhile by itself.
It really actually did feel like this. It's like, after the movie, it's like, well, what the fuck happens next then?
Yeah, well, you're kind of just blue balled at the end of the day. Like, I mean, let's just get there. Like, you don't fucking find out.
No.
What's going on with the deers? The deers are in the fucking. They keep showing up and acting all creepy. Like,
that could have been. That felt like that was something from a different movie. And it kind of felt like they had like 3 different ideas, and they wasn't sure which one they were going to go with, and they were sort of just making it up as they went along. And then they kind of got to the end of it. And it's like, oh shit, we didn't commit to any of these. Oh, we'll just make it like a Twilight Zone thing, and it will just end ominously, and that'll be impactful. And it's not. There are 2 moments in this movie that made me genuinely feel uncomfortable. Right, the one is where his teeth start falling out. Right. That freaks me out. I have nightmares about that. Teeth fall, like, it's just especially when it's like you don't know why, and it's like no reason or whatever, and it's just like, somebody getting a tooth punched out in an action movie is one thing, but this is like, I've got a pretty high tolerance for cringe, and that one killed me. But what made me cringe even harder, George, is fucking Julia Roberts and Mahershala Ali dancing to Too Close by Next. That was like, that was so bad. It wasn't earned at all, because she's just like bickering against him, because him and his daughter show up, right? And they a couple of times they try to play this whole like racial tension angle to it, but they don't. But again, they don't really commit to that either. And then they just throw it out the window. It's like, oh, we need to just have these characters be in the same house at this point, and we need to have like a bonding kind of, light-hearted kind of moment. And it was even creepier than the teeth, mate. I just couldn't cope. Like she's like dancing and he's like dancing, and I'm just like, oh, this is bad. And then we get Kevin Bacon, survivalist, lunatic, and it's fairly tense, but again, we don't really know what they, we know why they're arguing, but we don't really know, when we haven't got any scope of like what the kind of bigger picture is. It's like we don't really know what the stakes are, so it's like, does it matter if he kills them? Would there be consequences? And it doesn't matter, because he doesn't. And they're like, oh well, somebody else has got a fucking bunker and we should go there, but they don't. And then the kid goes missing, and then she's just like pops in a friend's DVD. They bring it all full circle.
That's the ending. I was just like,
and I'm like, is the whole point of this movie? Is it like, oh well, technology is the thing that's going to destroy us, but also it's the thing that's going to give us comfort when everything gets destroyed? Is that what the message was supposed to be?
Save your DVD players.
Save your DVD. Yeah, don't rely on Netflix. Bearing in mind, this is a fucking Netflix movie preaching to us about our reliance on fucking screens and technology. So that adds an extra level of sour grapes to the whole situation. And yeah, I give this like 1 out of 5 falling out teeth. So I did not like this at all. McManus, out of 5. Where you at? I'm getting the sense that you like this a little bit.
Yeah, well, I like shit movies.
Me too, but again, you've got to have an angle to the shit. I like shit with a solid hard edge.
I like the idea, and I like the ideas they have for camera angles, because it gave me ideas what to do with crazy shit. And
like my neck, yeah. But go on, out of 5, you liked it. It was all right.
Yeah, it's going to get 2.
2.
I mean, I was going to give it a higher mark. I was going to say like 2.5 deer hoofs out of 5. But,
deer hoofs.
I was invested. Like the whole thing with the Teslas and stuff. I was like, that's odd. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
like you said, like
I'd have to change my opinion in the future after watching it. Then I honestly didn't like. Only found out about it till he put it in the things. So
yeah, I mean, I hadn't really heard about the hype, like you said. I watched this film last night. Yeah, it's pretty good. Check it out, maybe. She said as well. She weren't keen on the ending, and I was like, yeah, that ending is just a fucking.
It was bad, and I don't mind an ambiguous cliffhanger ending, but it just wasn't earned at all. And I do agree, George. I think that Tesla scene was almost like pretty good. Like there was like a good couple of ideas in there, and it's like that scene could have been really effective. And also, is Elon really? Because did he really approve this? Because like he's just released the self-driving cars. They've not been out long, and you're going to let them put them in a movie that's like all about how bad technology is, and self-driving cars all get used to fucking as part of like a global warfare plan. I'm like, that's bold, but people are still going to buy his shit. So I guess he's untouchable.
Have you seen how bad the trucks have been doing?
No.
I mean, they look like the cars in this, like they've already been like smashed into each other. Do you know what I mean? So
the Tesla truck stock is apparently building up. They're continuing building them, but they're not fucking selling because people are just like trying to put them to the test and they're fucking their cars up.
They've all watched this movie and people are getting scared. So maybe he's not as untouchable as you think he is. But
yeah,
you know, from one untouchable man to, you know, back in the 70s, the most untouchable men was your talk show host, your American, good old, you know, classic, smiling, whiling, you know, knock joke telling, late night talk show host was all the rage. And who better to play that than creepy David Dastmalchian? On paper, doesn't seem like the most logical fit, but this movie is like, it's pretty on brand for like him if you watch a lot of his other stuff or like follow some of his socials and stuff. And obviously he was a producer on this. We're talking about Late Night with the Devil, by the way, you know, a slightly more recent movie. I was really excited to see this one, and I just didn't get around to catching it when it came out. And then I rented it on Amazon because these guys were like, we both watched it, you got to watch it. I'm like, fine, I'll rent it. Pressured me, so you owe me like $2.24 each, but so it's fine, just cash at me. But so anyway, so the whole I really like the premise of this movie. It's like, it's an old school 70s talk show. They're going to bring in a girl who might or might not be possessed, and we're just going to play it like she's on the show, and we're just going to see where it goes, right? So I thought the premise was really cool. And he's really good in this. He's like really convincing. I think all the actors, all the costumes, and like the way that it's shot and the sets and everything, it feels very authentic to the like they nail exactly the vibe that they're going for.
The camera grain.
The camera grain, you know, some of the effects, when we start getting the crazy effects later on, there's like that jumpiness to them, you know, where it's like, it's almost like there's frames missing and stuff. And, you know, and like when like there's stuff going on with the electronics, you feel like there's stuff going on with your electronics almost, like, you know, it's leave the world behind all over again, to be honest with you. But yeah, and I thought the actress playing the girl was like really good. Like she had this creepiness that I don't know how old she is, but she had this creepiness like beyond her years.
She had it nailed.
She really sold this, like, you know, again, like, you know, because all the rage in the 70s was like the supernatural, you know, the satanic panic and all of this kind of stuff.
What's the name of the chick in Exorcist? Reagan, was it?
Reagan, yeah. Reagan. She very much carries that, and again with the costuming, the actors all look very like, you know, it's hard to say like, oh, these people look like they belong in the 70s, but they did a really good job casting this. And like I say, all the costume, set design, all the effects and everything was pretty great. The concept was pretty great. However, it kind of undermined the whole thing for me. When straight away into the movie, it's like we get this like real, like we get this whole like history on his character, and it's like, it almost kind of took me out of it before we kind of really got to get into it. I was like, you could have, because it's like a 60 minutes like presentation kind of thing, right? On this TV show host character guy. And it's like all of the information that you're getting there could have easily have been sprinkled in throughout the movie, because it doesn't commit to the format, because it kind of breaks when they go behind the scenes in the breaks and everything. And it's like there was a lot of room in there where you could have put that information. There was a bit of an overload at the beginning, so straight away I'm like, I'm not fully immersed in this as much as I want to be, considering how good it all is. But I feel like you're both going to disagree with me.
No, so. I actually agree with you. I think this, like, for the first part of this movie was trying to tell you how much of a fucking asshole this guy actually is. So
I would have liked to have found that out gradually throughout the thing, through the context. I didn't want to know that he was a bad guy straight away.
If you know through clips like they've done him, I guess it's a different way of doing it, I guess. But in other movies, you gradually find out when a goody two shoes is a cunt, like in clips, because it's just trying to like ease your way into the story. This one is just goes like arsehole. Oh, he's this dude. He's an actual arsehole in real life, and he's like got something to do with his ex who's dying.
He's got some history. There's some allusions, and it doesn't lay everything out. There's a little bit of but it's not much mystery left to it. Like, I feel like you pretty much know everything about him already going in, and and it's just watching how the TV show itself is going to unfold. But George, you're into it, right? Going in, you don't agree?
I do and I don't. I feel it was a bit long-winded, but I feel like the point of it was building up the stakes of like how his, this is his last, effort of making, trying to get the ratings back or whatever. And obviously you come to find out there's a reason. There's also building up, the history with his ex, and we're led to believe there's reasons for what happens and why it happens, and sacrifices and whatnot. But
I think most of that we do sort of find out in the movie as well. So it's like they doubled up on it, and they spend a lot of time on that at the beginning. And I feel like there's other stuff There's other stuff later on in the movie that's really cool that I really would have liked more of. And
it takes a bit to get to the stuff, but I think I like the way it builds from, obviously you have
he's like the mind reader, clairvoyant magician guy. Yeah. I love it, by the way. It's so 70s because the dude is like, and I might be wrong, but it seems like he's a Spanish dude, but because he's brown, when he comes on, they play like this really cliche Middle Eastern music. And I thought that was really funny. I thought there was loads of little things like that were like accurate, and on brand for the time period. But he was really good. The build up of him was great. But what was it? Sorry, George, you got more on him.
Christo Bazi is the name of the actor.
He's really good.
He's great. Everyone's great in this, to be honest. There's not really, I didn't find there to be like a weak link in the cast, to be honest. That Carmichael Haig guy, the magician.
Was he the disprover guy?
Yeah.
He's the closest thing to he's not bad, but he's just so like, he's so unbearable, and that's the point of him. But they really do play it up. Like, he's interrupting everyone all the time. Like, they have to keep telling him to shush. And it's like, I get that you want to make him unlikable, but go on, McManus.
Have you seen The Matrix Revolutions? The last Matrix movie? You know the guy who blinds Neo, and he literally turns out to be a real life version of a copied Agent Smith. Is that the same fucking guy? Because he deadly looks a lot like him.
His name's
I don't think it is, but
it might be
Revolutions. Bane is the character. and the Matrix Reloaded. That
yeah.
Oh wow.
There you go.
Yeah, this guy, like this, one of the guys, like he clicked out of the Matrix, picked up the wrong fucking phone, and this copy of Agent Smith actually, for the first time, transplanted into an actual human, and it's just like the first time he actually like, oh, I hate being a human. I can actually smell your rotting flesh. Like,
we know he's bad, and he's really good in this, but it's like, yeah, we get it. You're building him up, and he's gonna get proven like wrong, and that there is actually some supernatural shit. It's just like you spent a little bit too much time hammering us over the head with that. And then, as far as like the plot goes, it's like you've got this lady who's a professional doctor, psychiatrist, who's got this very traumatized, girl with a lot of problems, who's had a very traumatic history, and she's like, yeah, I'll just take her on a fucking TV show, but you're not allowed to see the fucking possession. I absolutely will not. And they're like, oh, go on, let us see the possession. It's like, all right, go on then. And I was like, really? Like, I know we need to get to that point in the movie, but it just like, it didn't feel, that was the one part that just didn't feel authentic to me. I was like, she just caved in so easily and allowed this fucking whole thing to happen. It's like, I know it's the 70s, but did they not have child protection services? Like, you've got a duty of care to this girl. Well, and you've just fucking taken her on there and paraded it around for the whole fucking country, and then prodded the beast as well while she's in there.
Well, it turns out, Dean, in the 70s, no, they didn't have very much. Parenting wasn't great.
Fair point. But she's a medical professional. She should have known better, and she just fucking caves into the pressure.
It got until the 80s until the American TVs went, do you know where your children are? And they're like, actually, fuck no, where are they?
No, they're all riding around on bikes with ET in the fucking basket. They could be doing anything. Yeah, no, I get it.
We're all running around.
Stand by me looking for dead bodies and shit.
But don't have that shit anymore.
No, but so when we do get into it, like eventually, like we get a little mini demonstration. She's speaking all gnarly. She's flickering the lights and a little bit of that stuff. And then he's like, no, I'm not having none of that. But then when we really get into it, like some of the, and spoilers, by the way, she is really possessed and she does start fucking shit up.
Shit.
The effects are so good. There's like John Carpenter in there. There's a lot of stuff that reminded me of like the Reanimator and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like those late 70s, early 80s, like H.P. Lovecraft adaptations. There's a lot of that kind of stuff in there, like the effects with the worms and the head cutting and the neck snapping and all of that stuff is pitch perfect for the genre that they're going for. But then just as it's really ramping up, it's done. And we get like a weird mind flashback thing, and then all of a sudden it just ends. And it's a pretty good ending, but go on.
The end of the movie happened, literally, when George was done, and he actually he caught up like, yeah, I've seen the movie. And I sent in a clip basically of the end of Dogma with Jay Moose. Like, what the fuck happened to that guy's head? What the fuck is it? Like, he's got a fucking mouth on this one, doesn't he? What the fuck is that shit? It's like, that is my entire fucking reaction to the end of the movie. And then it was great.
It was great.
His wife, and it turns out it's really.
And again, this is a much better example of like doing like a Twilight Zone kind of ending than the last movie we talked about. This is much better, much better.
Yeah.
But I just felt like there could have been more meat in the middle of it, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it could have got there quicker, but at the same time, I feel like that was the whole point, was to watch the show in real time. And by the way, like you said, like all the set, the clothing, but like what I thought was a really nice touch was it was even filmed like when you saw the show in real time. It was like the aspect ratio was like 4:3, and obviously in the ad breaks when they're all talking, black and white. But it wasn't until like the shit really goes down that you see it in general, like, you know, modern day.
It widens up. Yeah.
Like, spoilers, but the fucking worm scene, like,
yeah, it's pretty grim.
I mean,
I want to know how to do that.
It was pretty cool. That was when that shit started happening, and like, I had a feeling like I knew like the little twist that was coming up with that moment. Yeah. And at first I was like, damn, this guy is good. No wonder he's so fucking pompous. But then I'm thinking about it and I'm like, that was a bit much. Like, that was pretty OP for a hypnotist to make everyone think that literally this fucking horror shit is going on. I was like, it was a little bit, it did stretch the believability a little bit for me.
You know, the crowd, and there was a few in the audience who were like, no, I didn't see that shit. Like,
and I feel like they put that in there on like just to make it seem like he wasn't like, because otherwise he's just as powerful as the fucking demon that is possessing this girl, basically. And I feel like they just put those couple of lines in there to just kind of make it seem like, you know, not as like far-fetched or whatever. Yeah. And then by the time,
it was just the idea that did it for me. I know it felt like a bit after it's done, because it made you feel like, what?
And talking about people that are too easily fucking convinced, the sidekick guy, you know, the other guy on the TV show who's like, I'm getting bad feelings, man. Like, this is not this. We need to pull the plug on this show. Like, he's the only one who sees really kind of what's going on. He's like, this is bad. Shit's going down. I think that magician guy died. Like, this like, we need to get an exorcist or a priest in here. Like, this is real bad shit, dude. You need to stop it right now. Oh, would you like to be the demonstrator for the fucking for the hit? And he's like, yeah, sure. It's like, you're the one who absolutely would not agree to that, but because we needed it for the plot, his character just kind of fucking chopped and just changed direction instantly when we needed it to. I was like, we could have played more with the build up, or, you know, or less so with that, and then it would have been more believable. But again, it was just ramping up, and it's like, shit, we need it to change gears now. So we just got to have, so him and the fucking doctor have just got to change their mind on everything they've been saying for the rest of the movie, just to get us into the third act. And then, like I say, right as the third act is really like cooking, we just go into this like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind bit where he's viewing like other events from his history, and then the reveal of, because he's like gonna euthanize his wife with the knife or whatever, and then he does it, and then he stops and he turns round and he's on the set and he's just killed the kid. I'm like, damn, that was good. But I was just like, this film could have easily been like a 4 or 5 for me, and it just, I'm probably going to end up giving this like a 3.5 out of 5 broken lights, I reckon.
Broken lights.
Definitely a fucking 4, mate.
I'm going. Yeah, I'm there with you, man. 4 ritualistic daggers for me. I don't know.
If they could have spent so much, they could have saved so much time at the beginning and cut that whole opening montage out, and we could have had a bit more of the full possession in action in the middle. I feel like they just, it just sagged a little bit, and it reduced the sag in the middle, kind of reduced the impact of the payoff for me. So I just like, I really wanted this to be good, and it is good, but this could have been great.
No,
and it just didn't quite get there.
I was watching the end of the movie, like before the sad bit, it was the fucking and then my son Corey comes in and is like, "What are you watching, Daddy?" Like, "Go away, go." And
then he's like, "What are you watching, Daddy?"
Like, oh no, that's him normally, mate. That's just
possessed at all times.
But that girl was so fucking great in this. I want to see her do more stuff.
She just comes out and goes, and like, oh, I got it more when I get home. Awesome.
And I want to see more stuff like this. I just, you know, I feel like this is the kind of stuff we want to be getting. You know, it was a fun new twist on a pretty tired possession genre, and this is easily the best like sort of supernatural horror that I've seen in a while, and we saw quite a few sort of the last few years, and this ranks easily above all of those. I'm not really like a supernatural kind of guy. I'm more just like unless it's Freddy, I like it a bit more like kind of real and visceral, whatever. But this really
real life thing.
I am supernaturally good at segues because we are getting to the final chunk of the show. And, we talk about going back in time, different periods, studios rehashing old ideas, bringing them back, putting a fresh new spin on it or trying to, and don't always hit the mark. And we talked a little bit earlier on about prequels to stuff. And I was like, we're going to talk about prequels. And I thought, here's what we're going to do. Okay. I'm going to put a list together of pretty much all of the prequels that you would probably want to talk about. There are some that are not on this list or in this. We're doing a tournament bracket, by the way, everyone. McManus, throw that image up if we can. So this is a 32 prequel team single elimination, whatever you want to call it. Oh, it's not the cropped one. That's fine. It doesn't matter. So yeah, shout out to Print Your Brackets because I got that template from there. They're not an official sponsor of the Pop Rose podcast.
So you need carry on. I'll be in a second, okay?
Well, you can't just leave it up and go. You got to take it down and then go.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's fine because I'm gonna go through them.
For a sec.
All right, yeah, that's fine. You've seen the list, right? So there might be a few on here there might be a few prequels that are not on here, and you might have questions as to why they're not on here. Chances are I've thought about it, and there's a reason they're not on here, and that reason isn't just I needed 32 specifically to make this work. There are some on here that I could have taken off. There are other ones that I could have put on. If there's ones that, like I say, I'm pretty sure I've covered all the ones that are likely to come up. If there's a couple on here that you were going to mention and you want to ask me why they're not on here, I've probably got an okay answer for you. Okay. Is there any? Did you get a look at this?
I feel like I need to look at it again. But no, I mean, yeah, there's some interesting ones on there from what I saw.
All right, I can quickly go down the list.
I mean, let's just get to them when we get to them. To be fair, because come on, now there's a lot of fucking films there. So
yeah, we're not going to
see the list here.
All right, he's got it. We're not going to really talk too much about, and we're going to give brief. We're going to vote on each matchup that I've put together, and we'll give a quick minute on why we're voting for what we're voting for, and then we'll move on. We're not going to review all of these fucking movies. To clarify, I didn't just randomize this. So I ranked all these movies based on their IMDb rankings, and then I put them into a bracket generator, which you put them in order of, like you would with sports teams, you put them in order of like best to worst, and then it gives you an even matchup for the whole 32. So obviously there's some pretty unbalanced fights earlier on in the tournament, and then they're going to get presumably a bit more cutthroat as we move on. So the first round I would imagine will be pretty unanimous for what we all vote for, but then once we get into the nitty gritty, I think it's going to get a bit more interesting.
I think this could take a minute, but I'm in it for the.
I think we can. This could be an hour. I think it'll be all right.
Yeah, but off the bat, there's quite a few here I haven't even seen.
There's a few on here that I haven't seen. Yeah, I mean, again, I'll define them if you want when we get to them. Is there any that you would expect to have seen on here that aren't on here? Honourable mentions, if you've got any.
Not really. I mean, nothing's springing to mind.
Okay, because there was a couple where it was like there's like Psycho 4 is a prequel, but then
Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas.
yeah, that is a prequel. I did not know that, but it is a prequel. But yeah, there was Psycho 4, The Beginning or something, which I didn't put on here, but that's a TV movie, so I disqualified it based on that. These were all theatrically released.
Yeah, I've got that little box set, and I've yet to watch that one.
Yeah, and I think maybe like some of the Halloween movies kind of take place in different orders or whatever.
I don't know if any of them are prequels, to be fair. I don't think any of them are.
Right. I've left off the Hobbit movies because I don't see those as prequels. They are very distinctly that's its own book, and that's it. You know, just because the book happened to take place before the Lord of the Rings, it's not a prequel necessarily to Lord of the Rings.
It's its own that story.
It kind of does, but not.
But then it's not.
Yeah,
it's not about the rings.
And I left off the Minions movies because they are technically prequels, but I also kind of see those more as it's more spin-off than prequel.
Yeah.
The same with Pushing. The same with Puss in Boots is more spin-off than prequel. It just happens to take place before the main movies. So I've left off
child problems.
No worries.
I'm gonna have to run quickly before we do this first round too.
All right, so that's perfect because I can do the same thing with McManus. So you have a look at this list, McManus. Is there anything that's not on here that you would have thought would be on here?
We've got Star Wars in here. That's a good start.
Well, the Star Wars, you know, it's in the thumbnail. Star Wars prequels are kind of the mother of all prequels, right? That's sort of when you hear the word prequel, that's probably what the first thing that most people would think of is those Star Wars prequels. Yeah, that's a prequel. Yeah,
Neverface.
Yeah, and we're not going to go into massive detail on all of these McManus. We're going to go down matchup by matchup, and we're all going to vote. This is why it needed to be 3 people on this one. We're all going to vote on which one wins each round, and then obviously we'll end up with a final.
Who knows? Like, you know, you're fucking wrong, right? You fucked up. You know what's the best movie? And it's like,
I mean, well, as I said to George McManus, I ranked all these based on the IMDb rankings, and then I put them into a tournament seed generator. So it's done it fairly. So there's some pretty uneven matchups at the beginning.
But you didn't go off Rotten Tomatoes, so that's good.
No, I went off IMDb ratings, and if you're wondering, in the case of a tie on the IMDb ratings, I then defer to the box office. So I've made this as fair as possible. All right, it's all above board.
Right. Well, should we do like fully left and then fully right?
Yeah, we'll work down. We'll work down the left side, and then we'll work down the right side, and then we'll flip back and do it that way. So this is going to be pretty easy, I reckon. First matchup is.
Let me get the picture.
Right. Quick look. And yeah. So this first movie on here, not many people know that this is a prequel, but this is from the Dollars trilogy, the classic Clint Eastwood westerns, and this one wasn't the first one released, and it is the first one in the timeline of these characters, or of that character at least. It's, a lot of people would say
I'm gonna put each one you put. I'm gonna put a slight picture of what they are here, like not on Dean's face, but to the left of him.
No worries.
You've really gone that far?
Huh?
You've got images for all these films?
No, I can't.
I haven't. No, we don't need that.
No, I can't do tiny footage.
No, we definitely don't need that, right? So yeah, it's generally considered to be one of the greatest westerns of all time. Westerns considered to be one of the greatest genres, of all time. It kind of had its time, but
used by Metallica, isn't it?
I mean, if you like,
the intro to their set, I believe.
Fuck Lars.
So we do have the good and the bad and the ugly, and it goes up against another classic, long-awaited prequel movie. I'm talking about Dumb and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd. Generally considered,
What a fucking matchup.
What a fucking. Now, this is, believe it or not, this was the fairest version of this, okay? So, Clint Eastwood in one of the greatest movies ever made versus arguably one of the worst movies ever made, prequel to one of the arguably best comedies ever made, at least of the last 30 years. I believe we're pretty much on the 30th anniversary of this movie. I think it was like 2 months ago, right? Yeah, I know, right?
Really?
Yeah, and obviously when you got Harry and Lloyd, two idiots meeting in college, you can't cast the original guys. They're too old. This is pre, de-aging technology, and also there was no way these two guys were going to come back for this shit. All right. So to call a spade, good, the good and the bad, the ugly, right? We all agree, good and the bad and the ugly.
No,
right.
wait, I'm not arguing that. I am not.
Okay. Yeah, obviously not. So moving on to the second matchup of round one, we have again, George, when you was gone, I said that arguably the mother of all prequels, the one that people think about when they think prequels, is the Star Wars prequels. This isn't an official rule of the Pop Roast podcast, but I did have this as a kind of unofficial rule when we've been doing this show. If anyone's watched all of these, you might have noticed we don't talk about Star Wars. We do not talk about Star Wars. Tread lightly with
as a character.
Not only is it tread lightly with Star Wars, because I've got some pretty hot takes about some movies, and George, we've said some stuff, and I've said, like AVP's good, like, and but nothing is quite as hot a topic as the Star Wars prequels. And I did kind of have it in my head. I was like, you know what, George isn't really a Star Wars guy. We're just not going to do Star Wars. But for the purposes of this, they had to be in here. And as luck would have it, two of them are meeting up in round one, and that is Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, versus Star Wars Episode 2.
You're an evil bastard, you know that.
Attack of the Clones, because I gather you're a bit of a prequel liker, McManus. Now, I want to say this.
7 when I went to see the first movie. My grandfather took me to see the first movie, and he was like,
all right, I don't want to offend any grandparents, all right? Angry Star Wars fans on the internet I can deal with, but Papa McManus I do not want to fuck with, all right?
You can't offend them. You can't offend them.
All right. So I want to say this about Attack of the Clones real quick. Attack of the Clones, to me, has a rare thing in a Star Wars movie, and that rare thing about Attack of the Clones is that it was probably the only time watching a Star Wars movie where I didn't know how it was going to end. You know what I mean? It's the middle of the trilogy. You know how Revenge of the Sith is going to end. Everyone knows how Empire is going to end. You know how A New Hope, like, it's all pretty standard hero's journey stuff. But we've set up young Anakin in Phantom Menace. We know we're going to get the transformation into Vader in the next one. And I'm watching Attack of the Clones for the first time. I'm like, what the fuck do we do in this movie? Turns out what we do is a whole lot of talking about, clones and political fucking dynamics that kids really don't understand. And then there's some rolling around in the grass. All right. And some pretty bad love torn, heart-wrenching, shitty dialogue. All right.
Hey.
Episode 1, pod racing scene is an absolute banger. I watched this recently. I haven't watched any of these others that recently.
Sorry, I've got to interrupt. As you know, I had to take my son to the 25th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 1. The only time he shut the fuck up is when they're about to get in the fucking pod races on the starting line. And then he heard all the engines, and some guy who was doing the projector up top just went, fucking turn this up a little bit.
Yeah, man. You can tell that George Lucas is a massive engine head when you watch that scene. Like, there's a lot of it feels, and apart from the two goofy talking alien heads, it feels pretty hardcore and energetic, and it's a really effective scene. I watched this not long ago with my girlfriend for the anniversary, and I was pointed out Qui-Gon's a pretty bad dude. Not only is this film quite racist, you've got every racial stereotype in the Phantom Menace, but also Qui-Gon himself is pretty ignorant. Having dinner with Jar Jar Binks, right? And Jar Jar Binks, who's like a fucking alien fish man, is just using his tongue. He's getting his food. He's just minding his own business. There's been a long journey, having a snack, right? And he just fucking grabs him by the tongue and tells him, "You don't do that." Imagine if you was having fucking dinner with your Asian friend and they pulled out chopsticks and you just took the chopsticks out of their hand and snap them and stab them in the eye and said, "Fuck you." This is how he eats.
No,
this is how he eats.
Yeah, it's how he eats. But he does.
We are going too long on this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. We are. I'm going to wrap it up. Anyway.
He's an alien, and he's like, he did it 3 times, and it took the 3rd time. Like, don't do that.
He's ignorant, right? But despite all the racism, despite the ignorance, you've got epic pod race, and that final battle of Phantom Menace is fucking legendary. Duel of the Fates, legendary. So Phantom Menace takes this round easy. We agreeing? George, you got any thoughts?
I mean, you say I'm not a Star Wars guy. I do enjoy the film. I watched 2 of the 3 prequels in the cinema because that was the sort of age I was at. So, what's his name from Space would definitely disagree. It's not Phantom Menace. But
right. McManus, Phantom Menace for you?
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't matter because it's a 2-on-1
sure
at
we
this
could do
point.
A tiebreaker.
Yeah,
I don't know how we do a tiebreaker, but
well, we shouldn't have a tie really because this.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I'm sorry because like.
Phantom Menace, sharp. Let's go.
Yeah,
Phantom Menace, McManus. It doesn't matter. Right. So, round 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Round 3. We have the 3rd in the Apes prequel trilogy, War for the Planet of the Apes, going up against the prequel to one of George's favourite movies, which is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So we have Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, George. Is this the one with Dennis Hopper? Or is that a different one?
No, that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Oh, this is the 2000. This is 2005.
Yeah, this is the stupid one.
Right?
Fucking needs to inherits the house or whatever.
Okay,
so like the TV controlled leg.
No, that's Next Generation.
Okay, so either way, it's a pretty.
Matthew McConaughey in that.
Yeah, it is Matthew McConaughey.
That's that one, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was having a dream when I thought that.
That one's actually kind of fun. It's stupid, but
I think that one's quite good. I thought
the control a mechanical leg. Like
I thought the 2004 remake was serviceable. I thought that was fine. This one drags it all down. War for the Planet of the Apes is not my favourite of that trilogy. But it's pretty dour. It's pretty depressing. You want a fun action apes on horses movie, and then it turns into fucking Schindler's List with apes in it. That's fine.
I held my hand up. Only a month ago, I watched I showed my ex Schindler's List because she refused to watch it for like 10 years. I made her watch it, and then no, I do not need to watch that movie ever again. Like, yes, that's the whole point.
So are you agreeing that War with the Planet of the Apes is better?
Sorry.
No, and it's just War of the Planet of the Apes. It literally was. It made me feel like, oh, this is fucking dirt.
You put it on par with Schindler's List.
They're basically the same.
When millions of pretty much the whole fucking planet is dead.
I mean,
if you want to talk on the scale of genocide, I suppose more people die in the Apes trilogy, because it's literally like the whole population of the Earth. But I'm not going to get into that debate, right?
Woody's in it,
right?
And then he just turns like,
he's pretty menacing, pretty good. So we're all going War of the Planet of the Apes. Next round, we got Cruella versus Final Destination 5.
But Texas, no, I'm not even going to go there. I was going to say Texas Chainsaw. It says the beginning, but it's not really a prequel. It's events that happen Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Is that,
War of
is that
the
the
Planet
one
of the
with...
Apes. Cruella.
Is that
Cruella
the...
versus Final Destination 5. I want to say the Final Destination 5 is just another Final Destination movie. What made it really fun was the fact that you didn't know it was a prequel till right at the end and you see the plane crash and you're like, oh, fuck. Having said that, Cruella was pretty good, although it does like stretch believability a little bit with like, really, she's going to be killing puppies in like 5 years. But visually, it's pretty good and it's pretty well directed. I am going to go Final Destination 5, however.
See,
for that twist ending.
I'm menaced and I like chick flicks since like, I was teens. So I went to see Final Destination 5 and like
that's not where I thought that was going.
No, I was done. And
I thought you were gonna be like, oh, I like chick flicks, so I'm gonna vote Cruella, but then you managed to bring it back to Final Destination 5.
Yeah, no, like when the guy got eaten by an escalator, then like shit's been already done.
Pretty gnarly.
Like,
so Final Destination 5 for you then?
No, Cruella.
Oh wow, George for the tiebreaker.
Fuck, I've not seen either of them. But I'm gonna go.
Which one would you rather?
Joking.
Really?
Joking.
Okay, so Final Destination.
Yeah, I'll go Final Destination. Sorry.
Okay, happy days. Right, here we go. So now we get another installment of the Apes franchise. We get Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and it goes up against one that has a warm place in my heart that everyone disagrees with, but it's going up against Leatherface.
Yeah,
this is a harder choice for me than it should be, really. But again, Leatherface, I thought it did something fun and different. It kind of took you on a little bit of a roller coaster ride. Didn't know where it was going to go.
I feel personally, Leatherface just went, fuck it. So
I do like Leatherface more than most people, but Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is the better Apes movie, so I guess I'm gonna have to go Dawn. If I went war, that's how it works. So I guess we're all going Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Yes.
No. Leatherface taking a fucking pass of influencers out with a fucking.
I'm saying Leatherface. I just want to keep a Texas Chainsaw Massacre related film in the fucking bracket, so I'm going with Leatherface too.
Yeah.
Oh wow! You made me betray the movie that I like that you don't like, and then you fucking vote it in it. Okay, happy days. That's fun. That's pretty fun.
Bitches.
Right. So we talked a lot about Alien today, and we talked about Prometheus. Prometheus is going up against the King's Man, the Kingsman prequel, which I haven't seen. But I thought Prometheus had some good ideas in it. It just wasn't. It didn't really gel together. But I thought visually it's pretty beautiful, and it did at least have some ideas. So, and I haven't seen King's Man. So we
Prometheus. I haven't seen King's Man. Have you seen King's Man?
McManus likes this movie. I know he does because we've spoken about it. It does have a post-credit scene with Hitler in it, like it's a superhero movie, and they play up Hitler like he's a supervillain. But is that enough, McManus? Is that enough to get it over Prometheus?
Fuck no.
All right, Prometheus. Moving on. Right. So here we go, and all three of these.
Michael Fassbender, who plays a cold fucking cyborg.
He is great in these. He is great in those movies. But and the third of the Planet of the Apes, or the first of the Planet of the Apes prequel trilogy, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, he's going up against George's favorite Exorcist: The Beginning. Now, I don't know if I've seen Exorcist: The Beginning. I probably have, and I probably forgot it.
One that came out on 6th, 2006.
Yeah.
It's around there, yeah. It was around that time period, yeah.
It's
and it's
right?
that's a sequel.
The Beginning?
Yeah.
Exorcist,
yeah. So I'm going Rise of the Planet of the Apes, groundbreaking, Andy Serkis, learning the personality of the ape and then getting your heart ripped out at the end. It's not really a contest. Are we all on agree?
Yeah.
You're saying The Believer?
That was the newest one.
Yeah.
Okay, what one you say?
The Beginning.
prequel happened.
Would it really change your vote, even if it was the other one?
Yeah, it would.
Oh, fuck that piece of shit. No.
Right, Planet of the Apes. So,
right, we got it.
Wow, 2 of those are making it through. Now, we talked about Prey as well. So we got Prey going up against its born arch nemesis, Oz, the Great and Powerful, the Sam Raimi prequel from 2013. Yeah, it's obviously Prey, right? I didn't think that Oz movie was... It was okay, but Franco's in it, so that doesn't help. Although he is in the Apes movie, and that made it through. So Franco's got one in. Begrudgingly, he'll be allowed. It's a good time
if you hire out your nuts. That's it.
Yeah, it's visually, it's fun in the same way that like a Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland, but not a lot of substance really.
I'm looking. Right, I know people are shitting on this, but I'm looking forward to Wicked.
I don't know the show, but I know a lot of people love that show. That movie's going to do very well. But moving on, we are now on the right-hand side of this bracket, everyone. And I think another landslide incoming. We got Star Wars Rogue One going up against the Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas.
Rogue fucking One. Shut up, George. Have you seen it?
Right. So that is Rogue One. Flintstones, it's fine. It's like a family movie. It doesn't have the original cast, so there's no Rick Moranis, there's no John Goodman. The cast aren't quite up to scratch, but it's fine. Whatever.
It's a classic movie for the kids. My son's never seen it. I think he's gonna fucking love it because he's infatuated with dinosaurs.
Love it. I actually want to go back and watch the original Flintstones movie because that was a mainstay when I was a kid. I was really into that movie. I had all the McDonald's toys. But moving on from one toy franchise, from one kid's franchise to another, we're going Bumblebee versus Wolverine, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now, we covered X-Men Origins Wolverine a couple of weeks ago. It is pretty bad. There's like one good scene, and it's literally the first scene.
Origins.
Yeah, and other than that, the movie's just a fucking jokey, cartoony, action cliched mess. Bumblebee was surprisingly heartfelt and good.
And it's got John Cena in it.
There we go. George, Bumblebee.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen, but you've seen X-Men, Wolverine.
I'm pretty sure I watched Wolverine thinking, oh yeah, I might get into that more than.
And it didn't get you into it.
George,
which one? So
Bumblebee has more 80s style Decepticons in it. Like the director.
It does.
Okay, we get fuck Michael Bay. I get the deal because I grew up in that era.
I think the fair way. I think the fair way to vote, if we haven't seen either of them, is just to say which one would you rather watch. I'm guessing if you had to watch one, George, you'd watch Bumblebee.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you both, you go.
We've both gone Bumblebee.
I mean, right as well, because you're both obviously big X-Men fans as well. But
and we still went Bumblebee, yeah. So that's fine.
Hey,
next month.
You fucking not see this. You can't have good without evil.
Yeah.
Fair.
Speaking of good versus evil, and also very sandy, dry, desert themed movies. Yeah. We've got another movie that not everyone knows is a prequel, but it come out after Raiders of the
Lost Ark.
Fucking hell! Why have I fucking forgotten the movie? Raiders of the Lost Ark. I nearly said Raiders of the Last Crusade. Anyway.
No mentioning porn movies now, Dean.
No. So we're talking Temple of Doom versus The Rock's first starring role in The Scorpion King.
Come on.
Which has a bad name because of how bad the CGI was on him in the Mummy sequel. But I think The Scorpion King is actually better. But obviously, Temple of Doom is Temple of Doom. It might be the second worst Indiana Jones movie, but it's still an Indiana Jones movie. So we all go in Temple of Doom.
Yeah, of course.
Don't want to feel like I'm leading too much here, but also obviously it's Temple of Doom. Right, moving on.
My son's gonna hate me, but Scorpion King.
Oh wow! Well, you put that to fucking the vote won't go your way, but you've put that in fucking on the internet forever.
I bought that movie on VHS the day it came out.
It's on the internet forever. On the internet forever. Not my mouth, yours. That's fine. But if you like a kids movie, you know, and not a lot of animated movies made it onto this. But one that did is Monsters University. The long-awaited prequel to the Pixar heart-wrenching, beautiful classic that is Monsters Inc. And it goes up against Hannibal Rising, which is one of 2 Hannibal Lecter prequels on this list. And in my opinion, it is the lesser of the 2. Monsters University, I did not think was very good at all. I think Hannibal Rising was fine. It did like a whole, you know, him in the war, and it was pretty grimy and dark and everything, you know. But
it was pure dirt.
But Mike Wazowski just too much personality.
You've got the bloke who plays fucking Connors in Marvel, who ends up eating Hannibal Lecter's sister. Like,
yeah, it's like one good scene. It's like one like harrowing scene in that movie that kind of you see where like the character like turns right.
There's a generation
but Mike, come on, Mike and Sully, McManus, Mike and Sully.
Yeah,
are you really going to do this? Because I don't know which way Georgie could have go. So this could be a surprise result.
No, the beginning was a lot to like literally take in, and it was a lot for people of the Hannibal University. Like, oh, well, the Nazis really like this. It was the Second World fucking War. It wasn't even the Germans. It was the fucking Russians who did the worst. So
what's it going to be?
Yeah, Hannibal.
Oh. I'm going Monsters University. This was closer than I thought it was going to be for me. But George, final vote.
Monsters ship had sailed far, you know, beyond by the time that came out. So
too little, too late.
I watched Monsters Inc. so many times with my nephews, and it did hold a special place in my heart. Even though I was like 17, 18 at the time.
Yeah, no, Monsters Inc. is pretty good. So am I hearing this right? Are you going Hannibal?
2 of my kids are nearly in their teens, and like I watched this with them when they were babies. So I'm fucking done. I'm done with the Midnight Garden. I'm fucking done with Eagle.
Compared to George's heartwarming moment with his nephew, and then you're just like, I'm fucking done with these kids.
So when it comes to kids TV, I am Vegeta.
They're your kids.
And die. I am done. Like, 3 kids. I am
bring the cannibalism.
All of them.
Bring on the cannibalism. Hannibal makes it through. What a fucking surprise! I'm literally surprised. Okay.
Father beans all the way, motherfucker.
Wait, can you chuck up the bracket just once more on here?
Yep.
Real quick, because I can't even.
Oh, that one is hard to read. It's a long title. That is, if anyone is struggling, that is daughter. From Dusk Till Dawn 3, The Hangman's Daughter.
What the fuck?
I've seen
there was a 2 and 3.
Yes, there was.
2. You had the
2 is
in it.
2 is pretty bad, considering even Bruce Campbell and Robert Patrick could not save it. It was still bad. Dusk Till Dawn 3. Dusk Till Dawn 3 goes back into the past and into the origins of the Titty Twister, and it's all, you know, westerny and, you know, it's like Mexicans and it's pretty, and it's basically just a remake of the original but set in the old West. You know what I mean? So I think it's pretty good. But it is going up against X-Men First Class, which some people will consider to be one of the best X-Men movies. We talked about this again a couple of weeks ago. I think there's a few really great scenes in X-Men First Class. I think it's good overall, but a couple of things bring it down. And I think Dust Till Dawn 3 was a really nice surprise. So I'm gonna shock. I'm gonna go Dust Till Dawn 3.
Gonna say I watched that over 10 years ago, probably when it came out when I was married, and my ex-wife loved the point. He had B movies, but she watched the things before B movies, and then go to HMV and buy a fucking ton load, and then like expect us to watch it in one night. So yeah,
and
I
also
think that movie was in at the beginning. Like
and that. Real quick on X-Men First Class, it's a better movie, but as a prequel, it's far too inconsistent with the history and the lore that the other movie set up. So that's what brings it down and puts it out of the running.
Yeah,
that's
one thing I have a really bad thing about. Like, for me and Henry Cavill, like, source material should be the fucking movie. How bad is it to actually take a fucking comic, like a director, like you're a director, you have the money, make the fucking comic.
It's fucking right there. Like, I know. I feel the pain.
The fucking comic. Not put it in another universe and change everything about the fucking comic you just ripped off.
But you tell him to make the comic, make the call, McManus, make the call.
And what's alright? Who wins?
First Class, Dust Till Dawn 3.
I know what I'd rather see, especially based on what you just said as well.
Yeah. Right, so that's 2 for Dust Till Dawn. McManus, is it unanimous or?
Yeah.
Okay, Dust Till Dawn 3. Happy days.
No.
Right.
Unanimous.
Yeah.
I said First Class.
Oh well, it's not unanimous, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, so 2 monster classics coming back for a fight that we'll never get to see, but we are having right now on the Pop Rose podcast. You will get this fight of Kong versus Alien. So that's Skull Island versus Covenant. So, yeah. Covenant is only good because it's more alien-y than the one before it, and the expectations we were just hungry. It's fine, but I think we were just happy to have like a more traditional alien movie, whereas I think Kong was actually like, you know, unexpected and like was a cool new take on the character. John C. Reilly really fucking sells that movie. Like, it should have been a stupid comedy character that didn't work, but somehow he brought some pathos to it. And you know,
you've got the guy who plays Loki. You've got
Tom Hiddleston, Samuel Jackson, Brie Larson. Yeah, I think I'm going Kong Skull Island, but we were going Kong.
John C. Reilly actually does make this movie. It's like, you're a good lot of people. We're all gonna die.
Kong it is. So now we have the last of the Star Wars prequels, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, versus the First Purge. I think this is quite a close one, because I think the First Purge was really timely with like the political angle. You know, it was like right around 2016, I think, you know, when certain people were coming into power in America and stuff. However, Episode 3 is pretty legendary, but a lot of it is legendary for like, you know, the really bad, overdramatic dialogue, pretty cool lightsaber fight.
Compared to the Purge,
there's 2 cool lightsaber fights in this, and you know, it's got a lot of memes of high ground and you were my brother Anakin and a lot of that stuff. But I'm going First Purge. Don't ask me why. Yeah, First Purge.
That literally did jump out. I did not mean that.
No, it's all right. I can fuck off, but we're gonna get through these. So we're tied, George. Tie it up. Tie it up, George.
Because I've not seen it.
Well, either of these.
I've seen Star Wars.
Okay.
Revenge of the Sith.
Sorry, McManus. I think the First Purge is going through.
Bollocks.
No, I'm going with Star Wars. Fuck you.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Of the Sith, the origin of Luke. I was about to say Luke fucking Skywalker then. And it's like Anakin Skywalker gets his fucking
Right, cool.
both
That's
legs
a shock.
chopped off, and the other arm that isn't
Shocker.
Robotnik. And then
Right, Star Wars.
left to die. Star Wars, go.
Okay. Now here's another fun one, and this is the last of the this is the last of this round, okay? And then it's going to be a breeze after this because we've already talked about them. So, Red Dragon, the other Hannibal prequel versus 2016, 11. Oh fuck, 2011's The Thing prequel, The Thing.
I didn't hate that.
Which it's fine. It captures the vibe really well, but then it kind of just does shit in the face of all the practical effects by the time you get to the third act.
Still shits me up to this day. It really does.
It's not.
But what about the? But we're not voting on the original, unfortunately, McManus. We are voting on the prequel, and I think Red Dragon is really good. I hate the director; he's a horrible person. I think Ralph Fiennes and Emily Watson are really fucking. Like, I really love the tension and the weirdness and the development of their relationship. Hopkins, we actually get Hopkins in this one. He's always good as the character.
Yeah.
And Ed Norton looks a bit weird when he's blonde, but I think I go Red Dragon for this one.
Yeah, 100%.
There we go.
Dragon, as it is Facebookly known, I got in trouble for this
Red Dragon.
movie.
Okay, so now things start to get fun, okay? And we're just gonna say what the matchup is, and then we're just gonna vote, right? So we got Good, the Bad, and the Ugly goes up against Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. As much as I enjoy certain things in The Phantom Menace, I think this is pretty easy. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly takes it, right?
Yeah. Standard classic, yeah.
Right. Then we have War for the Planet of the Apes goes up against Final Destination 5.
I'm sorry to mention it, but we got 5. We got 5 people right now. 5.
Oh wow.
If you want to vote on any of these that we're talking about,
comments.
Drop them in there.
We got comments.
Drop them in there. Are we making the? We got comments. We got thoughts. Are we making the right calls when we say War for the Planet of the Apes is better? Or is it worse than Final Destination 5? Right. Final Destination. I'm going Final Destination 5 because War of the Planet of the Apes is just fucking dour. Like I say, I wanted to go in for a fucking fun apes movie, and I got fucking POW desolation. And I know that's what it's supposed to be. It had to get to that point, but again, Final Destination was a fun fucking ride, and that twist ending is carrying me through round 2.
I'm thinking apes.
War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, going apes.
Okay. Apes makes it through.
No, it's like these genre of movies don't show, like, even in the old school ones, they try to give you an idea what it's like, but you just, like, it's short background scenes. In this movie, it's like entire forest. Humans are fucking dead because they're own disease carrying pricks. So,
all
right, cool.
Moving on. Are you two going to put your money where your leathery faced mouth is? It's Leatherface goes up against Prometheus. Now, I was the only one who said they liked Leatherface, and somehow it made it through, and I voted against it.
But it's dirt up against dirt.
It's not a film.
Prometheus is beautiful, but there's beauty isn't everything. All right. Hence, Leatherface wears a leather face. So,
How do you go from genocide to fucking straight up murder? Like, it's
I don't know. But how do you go from Leatherface to Prometheus, McManus? Where do you go?
I don't like Leatherface that much. I only really voted it in because I wanted to see a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film.
Yeah.
But like,
it's got to be Alien.
Damn, so now I vote Leatherface and it doesn't make it. Oh, wow, what a fucking turn. What a turn. You're ripping my leathery heart out, guys.
I'm ripping it out. Fuck up on this.
Okay. So we have Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This is tough. Rise of the Planet of the Apes goes up against Prey.
But there's 2 apes films going straight forward.
There is a fucking lot of.
I prefer the Predator. I prefer the concept of Predator films in general over Planet of the Apes films, but I didn't like Prey that much.
I really like Prey, but I think the groundbreaking effects and everything, and like the emotions and Planet of the Apes. I don't want to vote against Prey. I really don't, but I'm voting for Planet of the Apes.
Oh, he's gone.
Could have left us with a vote before he could have left us something to work with, a little morsel, a little ape treat of a morsel. What do apes eat?
I mean, bananas.
But we both voted apes anyway, so apes apes goes through. So
yeah, sure. So
that's fine. We can get on to this next one, which is going to
tally up. Tell me what we got.
Rogue One, Bumblebee in the next part of round 2 here, over on the right side.
What else we got on the right side?
Right side is going to be Rogue One. These are the upcoming fights, everyone. Rogue One versus Bumblebee. Temple of Doom versus Hannibal Rising. We're going to have Dusk Till Dawn 3 up against Kong Skull Island. We're going to have Star Wars Episode 3 going up against Red Dragon. But first off, Rogue One, Bumblebee. George, it's yours.
Is it really? I haven't seen Bumblebee again.
Right, but
I didn't think too highly of Rogue One.
Oh wow, it's the best one of the Star Wars, of the Disney Star Wars.
Well, I heard. I haven't watched.
What you just
McManus? Is it Rogue One or is it Bumblebee?
I'm looking at you. Have you not seen the end of Rogue One?
Yeah,
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Right. He wasn't invested in the beginning. It's not the ending. He didn't connect emotionally, McManus, because he didn't give a fuck about if they got the plans of the Death Star or not. He wanted the Empire to win.
Motherfucker.
So are we?
I guess it is Rogue
But Rogue One still goes through. It doesn't matter, McManus. It's fine. Right. This one should be fairly straightforward. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom goes up against Hannibal's first munching outing in Hannibal Rising. So obviously I'm going Temple of... I mean, it's weird because they both eat brains in these movies, right? So that's fun. Little bit racially insensitive that they got them eating the brains in one of these movies, but we're not going to go down there. Temple of Doom.
Monkey brain.
Temple of Doom it is.
Yeah.
Temple of Doom, right. Dusk Till Dawn 3, Kong Skull Island. Now, I do love Dusk Till Dawn 3, but that Kong movie's pretty good. Island. So I think Kong takes out the vampires for me. Yeah. And it's Kong fighting his way through. The man can fight a Godzilla, he can fight a vampire. I'll tell you that much. And last one of this round, Star Wars Episode 3 against Red Dragon. This is closer than it should be, I think.
Probably,
but I'm going Red Dragon.
Yeah.
Red Dragon it is. Right. We are.
Sorry.
Is he frozen?
No, I'm still fucking here.
He's
fucked up both of you. I could.
Sorry, Star Wars
geek.
The mother of all the prequels, or the definitive prequel trilogy. They're all out. Goodbye, Star Wars. Well, Rogue One is still hanging in there, but those 3 Star Wars are out, and we move into round 3, ladies and gentlemen, and all of our other friends who are watching.
Just going back to when George hasn't seen that scene. I'm fighting that in a fucking clip, and you're gonna watch Darth Vader murder some fucking rebels, bitch.
All right. Well, we'll see if Rogue One makes it to the next round when we get there.
Huh?
Right.
I said I have seen it. I just didn't care too much.
Oh,
so
I thought you said you've never seen the end of
Rogue One. And if he hadn't, you would have ruined it anyway. But here we go.
Cheers.
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is going up against a whole lot of apes of War for the Planet of the Apes. Now,
Bad, the Ugly.
Now these are both kind of almost equally, because Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is like it's not like a fun movie. It's a pretty grueling slog.
No, you have to be ready to fucking watch it. Like,
but those were the times back then. You had to drag yourself fucking, all hogtied through the fucking desert for 3 days, and you might not make it. So it's a dark time to be alive. But Good, and the Bad, and the Ugly. Are we all voting? Yeah.
It's a western.
Good, Bad, and the Ugly makes it through to the semi-finals here.
I just destroyed George there.
That's good.
It's a western.
Is what it is. Everyone's this is brutal. Everyone's getting destroyed. There's no fucking prisoners. This ain't no War for the Planet of the Apes, who is out of here, right? We have Prometheus and another apes movie, Rise of the Planet of the Apes versus Prometheus. Now I think again I'm going on the apes, betting on those apes. McManus.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know, but I just like to be a courteous, fair, bout.
Yeah.
Bout haver, all right?
Everyone gets their opinion.
Have you, both of you have seen Adam's Family Values, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right, this better relate to apes. You better bring this back in.
Right, no,
Go on, I'm waiting.
The third child was born with a fucking mustache, yeah? My son was born with a mustache, and it's legit. It's still there to this day, and a massive fucking hairy back. He is pretty much a little fucking ape. With
so Ape Adams, yeah, get ya. Right.
Sorry. What was it?
But they both got hairy kids. I don't know. I think that was the connection.
Bastard. That's what I'm saying. He's an ape.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't hear.
Right. So that's that. Right. We move over to the other side of the bracket now, and we've got last Star Wars movie remaining. Rogue One goes up against Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Now we're getting spicy.
It's Doom all the way for me.
I think it's this, it's in the lower tier. It's in the lower half of the Indiana Jones movies. What is there? 4 or 5 of them. This is like the third best, worst one. I don't know, all that practical effects, jumping in a dinghy out of a fucking aeroplane is pretty good. It is also kind of racist. I'm going Rogue One. I think Rogue One holds up and is a pretty satisfying movie, both as a prequel and by itself.
What's the name of the voice actor who's in fucking everything?
Well, Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Who does the droid? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, try and being fucking chokeslammed by that cunt, and they're like, "I am rescuing you."
Right, so he's getting choked. Rogue One gets chokeslammed into the semi-finals. Good time for Rogue One, not if you're George. Okay, we have Kong goes up against Hannibal Lecter in Red Dragon.
Fucking Lecter in Red Dragon, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be Hannibal for me, but yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that I'm leaning more Red Dragon. Again, there's not a lot of emotional characters. I mean, you've got one emotional character with John C. Reilly, but again, I love Ralph Fiennes is obviously a top quality actor. Emily Watson, I've always had a soft spot for her, and I think surprisingly Red Dragon takes that for me as well.
I've got to say, I only watched the Hannibal series on Netflix only 2 months ago, and it's stunningly
it's fucking good,
brutal than any of the movies, and it just ends on about a cliffhanger. That was a fucking cliffhanger.
Mate, talk about cliffhangers. I can't believe Red Dragon has made it to the fucking semi-finals. I can't believe this is happening.
I mean, obviously we're talking about prequels here, so it's like, Yeah,
a lot of these aren't good movies, but it has beaten out you know, it could have been X-Men First Class or Kong Skull Island, Alien Covenant, you know, like Monsters University, like, and somehow Red Dragon is the one that makes it to the semi-finals.
Yeah,
but back over to the left, we have Good, the Bad, and the Ugly goes up against Rise of the Planet of the Apes. How hard are you finding that one? Where are we going to go?
I'd sooner watch. If we're basing it off that, I know we're basing it off that if we hadn't seen the film.
Yeah, but when you're getting this close, it's got to be, you've got to have something, because they're obviously,
You ever seen a monkey shot with a fucking? That's kind of
What?
Yeah, I mean, again, like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is just more like sort of like, you know, a snapshot of like a really grim time. And Rise of the Planet of the Apes, he's got like a great journey. You know, your emotions rise and fall with the apes and humanity. You know, you see him go from this lovely little chimp to, you know, cutting off from his family and big old battles and wars and apes on horses with guns. I think it's not as technically a good movie. Well, it is because of the effects in the apes, and obviously it's different to compare it. But I just think it's more like a satisfying overall experience. I've got to go Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool.
McManus. It doesn't matter, but I'm giving you the chance anyway.
Say your piece.
Yeah, I guess as I'm a now kid, and I do really, I really love the genre at the moment. I want them to be more. So yeah, I'm going Rise.
Apes has made it to the finals, and it's going to go up against whoever wins out of Rogue One and Red Dragon.
Wow.
Who would have thought those two would be in the matchup? But there you have it. Rogue One, Red Dragon. Now, here's where I'm going to say some bad stuff about Rogue One. Like, it's very long and choppy and kind of directionless throughout a good hour in the middle of this movie. The opening stuff is pretty good. In your opinion, the ending stuff is pretty good. Whereas I think Red Dragon is like a tense, like emotional, consistently solid ride all the way through. I think Rogue One has like higher peaks, but it also has lower lows. I think Red Dragon
Red Dragon came out, through. It deserved what was going on in there. It was drawn out about the detective Hannibal and that, like, who turns out to be the fucking Tooth Fairy. Right, I know I have ripped this part, but like, I've got a Blu-ray, DVD, and VHS, for fuck's sake. Like, that's bad. That is actually fucking bad.
But is it enough?
Next level.
In the TV series,
come out in VHS. So.
No, it's on Disney.
Good point.
But
that doesn't mean anything.
But it was a lot drawn out in the TV series, which I love. It's more about, it was in the TV series more about the good, but in this one, it was like Ralph Fiennes in this, it was just like it just felt like another Voldemort. I think the Tooth Fairy or that is like worse in psychotic stages of a tree. Like he is just a bad fucking person, and which I love, honestly. And
so do you love it, or do you hate it more than you love Rogue One?
Motherfuckers. He's just fucking done Joker laugh at me.
I mean, it doesn't matter, but you know, because we've both voted Red Dragon. But if you want to be on the record and say which one, but I just want him to have the chance to be on record saying which. I want him to just. I want to hurt him. I want to hurt him.
But
you don't get like people who fucking killed themselves were the people who fucking delivered the Death Star plans to the rebels.
Oh, I don't give a fuck. Eating shit. Eating people.
I mean, to be fair, George, there isn't a lot of actual people eating in Red Dragon. Because Hannibal Lecter's like undercover. He's not really doing a lot of stuff, and that's not really Tooth Fairy's thing.
Hannibal's already in prison, right?
For more Hopkins.
Yeah. All right. Well, either way, Red Dragon has made it through to the final.
Red Dragon, I'm gonna get fucking killed for this. So.
There you go. So finals, everyone.
Before we do the finals, has anyone in the comments said any? You say there were comments, McManus. Can you actually see them?
Anyone normally get one down there. There's no comments, but there are 4 people.
All right. Well, if anyone wants to leave a comment, now is the time before we make the final decision.
If I'm for the shit, George is for the shit. Look, for the shit.
This might just be for the shits and gigs, but also this is a very prestigious title of the greatest prequel ever made, and they're
hang on,
varying quality.
Super Troopers not make this.
I asked if you had any honourable mentions about an hour ago, and if it wasn't a prequel, then you can't make your own prequel and go back and fucking do your revisionist history, okay? You know what? Them rebels could have died getting Super Troopers to the fucking finals, but they didn't, and it didn't make it.
Probably all
drinking a Bud Light.
Oh no! I mean, nothing wrong with Bud Light, but no, I'm actually drinking Brothers Raspberry Ripple.
Oh, it's just cider.
I'm drinking the old TW tap water, mate. Right.
What are you drinking, Manny? Ukrainian
vodka.
Wow. Right. So the final is upon us. And like I said, if anyone wants to comment, this is the one to comment.
No. Yeah,
or just anything on the video, you know, if you want to see Prey, you want to see Predator, you want to see Alien, maybe whatever, you know, or just say hi. It's all good stuff.
I only asked because I thought you said there were comments.
The Wookiee should go fuck himself.
Who?
I was going to say in a comment, the Wookiee should go fuck himself.
There's going to be, if people watch this and they realise that Red Dragon made it to the final, there'll be comments when it beat out Monsters Inc., Indiana Jones, and a lot of other, you know, kind of fondly regarded movies.
Yeah.
But
I think most people would definitely put Temple of Doom over Red Dragon.
I think any other show does this show. Yeah, I think Monsters University or X-Men First Class or Kong Skull Island, maybe even Bumblebee, I think would have been the favourites, but they are not this show.
Have you both seen the Big Bang episode where Thing disproves Indiana Jones?
Oh yeah, because literally, I haven't seen the episode, but he doesn't even have to do anything, right? And the movies would just happen anyway. Is that what you're going to say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
he did do something, and he still didn't make it to the finals. Because what we have got is we have Rise of the Planet of the Apes versus Red Dragon. Now, again, these just get tougher and tougher and tougher, which I think is the point of this. I knew this was going to be, you know, a lot of landslides at the beginning. I knew it was going to get rough. Didn't know it was going to get Red Dragon kind of rough. But here we are.
Oh, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Oh, this is just McManus fucking growing Corey until he's able enough to leave the fucking house. Yeah.
You know, we're a family-friendly podcast here at the Pot Roast Podcast. It's fine. You know, we will train your kids until they're able to ride a horse and hold a machine gun, and then they're on their own. All right, that's what we do here. Those are the services that we provide, and they also might have to fight a cannibal. Right? I don't make the rules. This is just the life that you live. This is the world that we're living in, and it's the world of Planet of the Apes versus Red Dragon. Okay.
The only time I'm gonna eat a human is if I'm trapped in a trench, and it's barbecue time, motherfucker.
Trapped in a trench. I imagine trenches aren't that hard to get out of.
Yeah, but he's just like, I mean,
he's just
He's hungry. Once you get out of the trench, how long is it before you get to the nearest fucking 7-Eleven? You know what I mean? Like you've got to make the fucking call. You've got to make the call before you leave that trench. Otherwise, you could be eating dirt and die in the dirt. Right. So, I mean, I'm not going to make a definitive statement on what I would do in that situation on the internet, but is what it is. I am, however, got to go Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I think again, like there's a lot of like, whereas Red Dragon is like mostly just like fear and tension, and I think Apes has all of that stuff, but also it has like love and hope and family and a lot of other cool stuff, and it's got action, and it's got like again the groundbreaking special effects and the performances, the Andy Serkis of it all.
I love how they keep all movies connected by at least an Easter egg. Like me, like I want to make a film. I want to make a film soon, and I'm sorry, but I just love Easter eggs. I love the people who are watching this. For like, Dean, you playing Fallout, and then like you had no idea what the fucking Easter eggs meant, and then you watch Fallout and like, I get every part of this fucking scene. This is like, I love that shit. I want to make scenes where I can put shit in the background and be like, oh!
And are you referring to like the newspaper thing about the spaceship in Planet of the Apes and all of that kind of stuff? It ties it in really well. It's not obvious. It doesn't take away. This movie works as like very well as a prequel. Like, it also works very well as just its own. Fuck
the Mike Wahlberg one. Like I got that on VHS, and my parents were like, "Oh, you should see this." But you're like, "Yeah, it's really."
But have you got Rogue One on VHS? Right. Well, I'm going Apes.
The Mark Wahlberg one is like I loved it when it came out, and then later years I can't stand it. And then they bring out these ones, and it doesn't give you. I know it doesn't give you a fight of like, oh, these apes are human. These are just trying to be apes. They get smarter because of the gas. And it really does. It's just what humanity really evolves into. It's like, no, humanity doesn't evolve into. You guys fucking die out. Like
we're gone, mate. We are gone. But apes still remain. Are they remaining, McManus? To the end. Yeah, George, is it unanimous on the final here?
No.
In real life,
I'm not doing this just to be contrarian.
If an orangutan, actually got hold of you and you feel like you're just like the one from the movie. No, this motherfucker will pull your skin off like a fucking banana just because they're that. Like,
I mean, isn't that funny how that worked out? Because both these movies have antagonists who would tear your face off, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of perfect. It does make sense that these would be the final two.
Yeah, nice face off. If you would.
Yeah.
What perfect? The face off. The face off to end all face offs. George, real quick, you're taking Red Dragon. You would, if I put both of them in front of you right now, you got to watch one.
Well, it's funny. I was going to say, like, after this, I would happily actually watch both of these films. But
I'm kind of in the mood, weirdly, for Red Dragon now. Yeah.
I'm watching. I'll fall asleep in the first half hour, but I don't know. I mean, I might even, I might be able to sit for it. But I'm going. If I had those two films in front of me, what am I going to watch? It's going to be Red Dragon, probably. So,
I mean, you've even got me questioning it now. Because I'm like, you know what? A lot of that Planet of the Apes movie is just people getting sick and dying. It's like, do I really want to? Do I really?
Apes.
Do I
I'm
really?
not going to lie. I kind of dig the old ape films, the Charlton Heston films. I've got a fucking box set. They're pretty bad.
Same apes, different reality.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously the modern films are a lot more thought out.
You don't have the mum and dad anymore.
The conflicts. Yeah, there's a lot more thought gone into those films, but they're just a bunch of CGI apes. Obviously, Andy Serkis does his thing. He does it well. Motion captured or whatever. Rather, sorry, not just CGI. But it is at the end of the day. That's what it is.
Weren't we supposed to be
basing my.
He's almost swaying me, man. He's almost getting me, but I don't think I can commit to Red Dragon being the best prequel.
The breast
prequel, you know, a lot of monkey breast going on, you know, or do I want a monkey breast or do I want an Emily Watson breast?
On a plate and served with a nice Chianti.
Look.
Oh, don't actually.
Lima beans.
Look, if I did that to her in that movie, she'd never look at me the same way again. You know what I mean? So I couldn't do it. I couldn't do that to her. I'm sticking with the apes. I'm sticking with the apes. I'm sorry, George.
There's a guy on TikTok who's bright ginger, like ginger than me, like fucking hate Aries ginger, and he put Chianti, lima beans, and liver in a blender and tried spreading it on toast. Took a bite of it, like.
That actually sounds like something you would feed to an ape in a zoo, to be honest with you. But anyway, apes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Rise of the Planet of the Apes is definitively, and this is universal, everyone else has to acknowledge this, based on this podcast, this show, Rise of the Planet of the Apes is the best prequel of all time. So that's a big A. For apes, anyone who's been watching what I've been doing is just this. I wish we were savvy enough to have it so we could have done like the updated one and put them on, but I just didn't have the capabilities to throw that together for this one. But but this was pretty fun. Maybe there's another topic we could do something else similar and do, because I think that was a really fun thing to do. I think it was a nice way to kind of talk about all of these movies in, breezier times than we would normally talk about a movie. If we just said, all right, here's a list of prequels, what ones do we like? That could have gone on for like 3-4 hours. And we managed to get it down to a nice tight 2 hours and 42 minutes.
There's probably people who's like, oh, don't shit on Star Wars. Oh, let me hear you shit on Star Wars some more. So,
I mean, it might look, Star Wars is in the thumbnail. It's the mother of all prequels. People are going to come into this waiting to see their baby, episode 1 or episode 3, cut through, all those apes and leather faces and everything else. And they're going to be devastated. And then they're going to be like, oh, it's all right, because Rogue One's still with it. Rogue One's obviously going to be the winner. Fuck you. We killed Rogue One like you killed the Rebels. It's done, McManus. It's all done.
We killed them and we ripped their faces off.
Happy days. So anyone has any different takes, let us all know. Drop it in the comments. You want to attack me personally, you can get me at Dean Lee Live on the Gram, or on the X, or on the Facebook.
How about not attacking him personally? That'd be a good thing.
I'll eat your fucking face. Okay, I won't. But I will metaphorically use my mouth to tear you apart. Okay, or my fingers, because it'll be a keyboard. Because I'm a real warrior in that sphere. I'm not. Let us all know, keyboard warriors, tell us everything that we said wrong, and we can ignore that in our own time. Subscribe, click the bell, do all of that good stuff. Go and check out George's band Necromorph. You can find them on various platforms. McManus repping the merch. Anything else before we get out of here?
So
anything
George,
else?
I'm probably going to copy strike from you, but your song doesn't go through. So,
fair.
I think I want to change my answer. I think the best prequel was McManus drinking all that vodka before this show.
Progressively got more Ukrainian.
Or less. Maybe you got more something and less of something else.
I'm sorry I got more opinionated. It's the first time I tried this stuff, but
that's good.
The last 2 weeks I've just been nodding at Dean, and I feel like it's just a bit boring. So.
Well, the prequel to this fun episode was just McManus nodding along to my boring old shit, and you know what? It's fine. It would have been different if I would have backed Rogue One till the end, wouldn't it?
And I should be. And this
because I bailed on Rogue One. It's because I bailed. I took it to all the way to the semi-finals, and then I left it there to die in the Death Star.
How about?
I'm sorry, guys.
No, this is your fucking fault now. How about you look up Star Wars Rogue Survivor and fucking watch the cinematics of that and see what I'm fucking going through, motherfucker.
Can I hear a cat even telling me off as well? Is that what's going on?
Oh, yeah, Ron was the Rogue One fan, apparently.
Even McManus' cat is coming at me. That's fine. Thank you, everyone. If you watched this, hope you had a great time. This was a lot of fun. And we don't know what we're talking about next week. Didn't have time to figure that out. I was doing little red squiggles on a tablet, right? But we will have something next week. It might not be exactly a week. Sometimes it's like 6 days. Sometimes it's like 10 days. But we don't work on your schedule. We don't even work on ours. See you later.
And with the last of this, I'm going to leave you fucking Necromorph. Listen to him. Subscribe.
Do it all.
Bye.
Peace.